And welcome to Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 36. I totally did not raid the company fridge for mint chip ice cream. I'm joined today by Smolie. Smolie, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Tired as usual, but I'm super excited to be back here once again to comment on some great teams that we have here tonight.
We have some really great teams here tonight. And who catches your eye the most? Like, even if we're not casting them.
At the moment, from the past couple times I've been commentating, there's a team called Agenda that's seeded 1 right now, of course, but I love their icon. It's super funny, super amazing. And they play some really good games. Another team that I'm super excited about solely because of their name is Hello Chudlings. I've been always saying that I am a fat chud most of the time, just like I love the word chud. So seeing a Splatoon group have that as a name, I think is just so funny. So I'm super excited to see how they go in seeding and in Swiss brackets. Any teams that catch your eye?
Well, we're not casting them at the moment, but Inkfist is also in the tournament. I think they were in the NA League, if I recall correctly. I've heard them a lot before. I can't remember if they were in NA League or another tournament. I think maybe the Gamers Forgiving won yesterday. I could be completely wrong.
Okay. Super cool. There's a couple teams I've seen on here though that are pretty interesting and some that I've seen before. There's a team name called Low Quality Aerospray. I think that's pretty awesome. Super excited how they go. And then there's a couple teams that I recognize as well, like some people in 3-4 combos. My good friend Rare is playing and Away Healer. They're playing together, and it looks like somebody from Crankin 28s is playing today as well in a either pickup or just subbing in for another team, because I know where that 28's always comes from, and that is a Crankin 28s member if I've ever seen it.
A Goat Twist!
And if you... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying that's my Goat Twistifer on that team.
Yes, and if you guys in the chat know of anything about Shark Tank Shallow Waters, there has been a team notoriously always here playing, and unfortunately Pocket Aces is not here today, so we will not be seeing them at all, and it's very sad to hear that Pocket Aces is not playing this Shark Tank.
Pocket Aces, no!
Rest in peace, they will be missed until we see them. Alright, we have the rosters up here for the Play All 3 and Swiss Round 1 with Pacemaker and Splatstangs playing together. It is I think, pretty big seed difference, definitely. Pacemaker being at seed 9 going against the seed 20, so I'm super excited to see how these games go. Specifically since they're starting on Splat Zone's Barney Dime, I'm super excited to see how they play, because I was kind of peeking through Pacemaker's roster, and they have a Squeezer player. So I don't know if they haven't just changed their Sendo in a while, but they have a Squeezer player, which I haven't seen in ages.
Squeezer is one of those things where you don't usually see it get picked in competitive environments, but when you do see them picked, it's pretty interesting to see. And for a while, I thought about it like Ink Brush, like you don't usually see Ink Brush, but now you can see Ink Brush. So maybe more and more people will pick up Squeezer. And
definitely.
What do you think about Squeezer? I have good opinions about it.
A sprinkler or squeezer?
Squeezer.
A squeezer? Oh, sorry, I have to turn my mic up a little bit. I might be a little bit deaf. But personally, as a backline and support player, I despise that thing. It should be put in the ground. It's a despicable weapon when it was in the meta, but I haven't seen it in a while because the meta has been changed so much during that time. So I'm really excited to see what type of weapons they'll be running, since that's such an old type of weapon that
Let us know when you come back to Earth, and be sure to bring me some mint chip ice cream from Beyond This Mortal Coil. We're gonna get right into it with Pacemaker versus Sting. Already making a beeline to the zone, and I've gotta say, that was the quickest zone cap I've seen. Pacemaker making it for themselves. And yeah, Smolie just kind of died on you.
Am I alive? Am I alive?
Smolie is alive!
I am alive, thank God. I don't know what exactly
They're
happened
alive!
here.
Stop, let me check. She's alive! They have returned.
But it's looking pretty interesting here, seeing Dually Scorchers and an E-Leader on the same team here. It's very aggressive comp Splatstings is having here against Pacemaker with more of a painterly combo here, but it is looking like Pacemaker is taking the lead here at the moment with only 4 minutes left.
Indeed, there's not a lot of time, but at the same time, there's a lot of it. Hot Zones is kind of like that. You have time, but you don't have time as whales come out, and there's area denial for this player as they get taken out by another one. We've got 4 coming out for the Pacemaker. They're on a roll here, Smolie, with no more penalty points to have to worry about.
Yeah, it's looking like Splatstings is getting a bit locked out here with having no cooler on their side versus going against the Dynamo that is so paint heavy, just constantly racking in those coolers for their aggressive team comp. And they're just getting outpainted because they just simply don't have that much paint output as Pacemaker, which ends the game.
Outpainted, but not without a good fight.
Was there a sprinkler kill? Oh my gosh, that's beautiful actually. Considering I didn't see like half of that game, RIP, I don't know what happened, but it's looking like Pacemaker is doing exceptionally well how they were last time, taking that first win up on Barney and Dime, which now they'll be going to Rainmaker, Undertow Spillway, which I don't know about you, but as a support player and a backline, it's such an iffy map for me that I'd rather just avoid that because I'm terrified of blasters on that map.
Blasters on that map are really punishing. They do well with area denial, they know how to poke, they know how to ledge peek like in Smash Bros. And if you're just in the sparks, it's GG sometimes. They love to do chip damage, and they love to do just one-hit kills.
Definitely. Yeah, and if anything like that splatter shot is, if they stick that splatter shot, it might be a pretty interesting time since they will be using those Booyah Bombs to make sure they can get that elbow cleared out after first check.
Undertow Spillway on zones. Honestly, this is kind of cursed for me as a brush. Wait, this is Rainmaker. It's even more cursed.
It's Rainmaker.
It's Rainmaker. It's even more cursed.
Yeah, so it's looking like they're keeping the same comps here. It is looking like they're just fighting for Rainmaker here, both trying to see how they can fight. It does look like one does go down for Splatstings because of the Rainmaker kill. It is looking like Splatstings, and especially Apple here, is just trying to keep up some turf here on right side with their dually paint output. But it is kind of interesting to see... Oh, wait, what just happened? Did the leader just get a snipe down? It did! It is looking like Splatstings is getting the carry here because no one is on left side to help rebuttal that.
Indeed, and that gives them a good opportunity to use those strikes and get another checkpoint. Actually,
Yeah.
it might be the first checkpoint. That's the left first checkpoint, but we've got crack and cheese, and we've got a good path forward for Splat Stings, but the Rainmaker is lost, but not for long, because they're about to just pop it again. And I was gonna say, somebody was gonna get taken out, and they do, by the bucket.
Yeah, that bucket just doing ledge paints over there on right side, just keeping sure the paint output doesn't allow for that Rainmaker to move at all, which brings Splash Things back to mid just so they can bring their teammates back into a kind of like stalemate here because they have a good lead here. So it's up to them to either see if they're going to play more of a defensive time just for the last 3 minutes or if they're actually going to try to go for another push during this time.
I don't think another push is really beneficial here, because there's a lot of map control. Now, if we're talking about Splat Things pushing in, there's a lot of map control for Pacemaker right now. As they take the Rainmaker, move up to the left, they'll have to find a way to push against it, and they do manage to take somebody out. Apple, I think that was her name. The text is kind of small from here. Keeping them out.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to make sure they can keep this elbow here cleared, but it is looking like Pacemaker is almost close to getting the lead, and they take it by 5 points, which is a crazy take. So that means Splat Stings is gonna have to hit the ground running and just go and make sure they can get that lead back because it's such a close game. But now they have to fight back against Pacemaker here and get that paint output overturned to be in their advantage.
And there's a lot of map control for Splat Things now. The turns have tabled here, and it is a very close score of 31 versus 36. And Haybale with the Rainmaker getting taken out. There's size disadvantage for Splat Things. Pacemaker has the numbers. They have the ink now. Apple going down. Wavebreaker cutting into their attempts. Takai out here with Rainmaker going down too. We got a 1v3.
Yeah, it's looking like Splash Things is not letting them go any further than what they already have, pushing out all their specials that they can, trying to push back their weapons because Pacemaker during that push went 3 down, which is a very bad disadvantage for Pacemaker to try and retake. But the Gal goes down on Splat Things due to the Dynamo, and it looks like Pacemaker is going to get the pop here, and they're probably building for another cooler here just so they can keep their teammates alive.
And it seems like Pacemaker is just surrounded on all sides by purple. Having to stick together, Splatcat down there scheming, but choosing to make a super jump to get out of a hairy situation. It seems like Pacemaker is about to turn the tables again. It's been a really back and forth map. Both teams just want to set up their campsites and have their s'mores set up in each other's bases, with everybody just going, nuh-uh.
Yeah, that leader just said, "No, you're not going any further as long as I have this Kraken." But Splash Things has so much turf to cover because that Dynamo is just getting a crazy amount of turf input, which, as I say that, the Dynamo gets a double with that said paint output. So it's looking like that is 3 downs with only the Rainmaker left on Splash Things, which is a very scary situation for them since they're just covered left and right and there were 3 down, so it's looking like Pacemaker is just gonna try and keep that left corner stable so that Splash Things can't go in any further.
And that's a good thing that they had that Booyah Bomb there too. Unfortunately, it seems like Apple managed to take them out, but Apple did go down. Takai is keeping it locked down over here with just 7 seconds left. All Pacemaker has to do is just hold the Rainmaker and just be like, it's my Rainmaker. But nobody has it. So that game goes to Pacemaker.
It does indeed. It was kind of just a crazy fight for just making it out of mid during that midway point was after Splash Things got that initial push, they just had so much trouble with paint output that they couldn't get any further than mid once they got that first initial checkpoint because Pacemaker was constantly keeping them on lock with the amount of turf and specials that they had that even the Dynamo getting that minor chip damage was enough to just knock them down two teammates at a time. So it is pretty crazy to see that Pacemaker is just kind of going crazy and getting some really good pushes. but it's at the same time they're both stalling kind of in these midway points where they're just making sure that neither team can fight, but no one's really taking the initiative to go even further into the enemy's base, which I'm really wondering if Pacemaker is going to do in Museum just so they can get a more lockdown situation happening so they can keep that basket open longer.
Splat Things is going to find a way to sweep them this match. This Museum Slams, it's a slightly smaller map, you got more terrain, and I don't exactly know how their comp is going to fare here, but something tells me it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to play out a little bit different for them. But wanting to go back to what you were saying about stalling in certain areas, it really did seem like the fights were back and forth, really scrappy, and if I can just say one word about it, bottleneck. Bottlenecking is something it's a term I use to describe where for some reason or another your team just cannot progress past a certain point because maybe something's blocked off, maybe you really can't get rid of the anchor on your snipe. Really, it's just vague because it can apply to any map and mode. And I feel like that was happening on both sides here.
Oh, definitely. That is a great term. I like low-key want to bring that up to my own team because that was kind of peak. But it is looking like we're starting on music. Yes, let's go. I'll take that to my team and spread the voices. That's double gal, by the way, going against a Nautilus and Blaster backline. No backline on Splashtangs here, trying to go for more of an aggressive comp, going against a 96 and 52.
Actually, Splashtangs does have a backline. They have that Nautilus, so that's really going to help them out with keeping their jump and making sure things are alright, as an anchor should. Hayvale does have a little bit of a frontline intensity, which is not a bad thing at all. I always love to see frontlining backline weapons. You've already got 7 clams out here on the left side with Apple, and it's getting really hairy right now with the whales.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking like they are pulling the back here and gets the Nautilus down, and Pacemaker's just trying to go into the base here, but does get stopped by the Blaster, as he's trying to keep them away from ramp, but that Stamper says, nope, I'm going in as long as I can, like, get in there. And they go in with Zip just to ensure that they're gonna try and get some crazy picks, but goes down! So it's looking like Splashtanks is just trying to keep them safe here, but the Pen is trying to get some crazy picks here, going and wins a tap shot fight against a Blaster, which is crazy. Tokai Teo, I don't know what you're doing on Pen. Get back to your regular scheduled weapons here. But gets a bomb, misses the ball! Pacemaker missing the ball here, losing it, and oh my gosh, that's a crazy turnout for Pacemaker to having to essentially reset after that.
Indeed, we got that coming out on the ramp, which is a very precarious place for anyone to be, especially Hayvale. You'll want to have to get back over there if you don't want to get caught up in the ink bat, which you do a great job at avoiding here, but still getting seen and caught out by Chirpy on the 52 gal. Can't change my mind. There is a 52 gal meta happening and a 96 meta happening somewhere else. I think Japan's scene. Burrito guy wrapping it up, living up to their name, clearing out the plat.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you saw that, but they were trying to, Pacemaker was trying to make a ball, but essentially just got stuck in enemy paint here. It's looking like Splashtangs is definitely trying to keep the clam economy on their side here, and they're just trying to keep more turf advantage as well with that Nautilus trying to back up fights here, and tries to get a kill on the pencil, but unfortunately misses, but that is a clear wipeout by a back kill. That is absolutely crazy, and Pacemaker is hitting the ground and just going for as much points as they can.
In the ground running indeed. We are just throwing in those clams like our lives depend on it. We've got one going down. Black Cat clearing it out with their blaster. Sword is fighting for their life. Black Cat over here going to mid, going towards Spinner, trying to get their anchor, and Tokai goes down, jumping back to base with it's a job well done out here. And we're gonna see if Things can take it back somehow.
Sorry, the little rotations and shimmying of the cam was kind of getting me a little giddy there. but
Oh,
it
no, you're
is
fine.
looking like it is looking like Splash Things is trying to get a push here, but they don't have enough clams right now. There's neither of them have a lot of clams at this moment, and it is a halfway point where Pacemaker is already down, but it is looking like Splash Things has 2 clams down, but one goes down and gets dropped. So it's essentially just going to be a stalemate here because they are 3 down. So it's looking like they just gave a free pity to Pacemaker at this point.
That's unfortunate because there really was a push there. K-Bale putting in that clam did get some points on the board, but unfortunately, like you said, it did give them a pity, which is why if you're at the end of the match, you've got the lead, and nobody has a pity over there on the other side, don't go dunking it in before overtime, if there is going to be overtime. Blackcat going down to the whales, and we're going to jump right back to base. Tokai is scheming. I wonder if they're going to pull a like a blanks cheese. I almost called them blank Z again. They'll cheese this map. Maybe half of them.
It is looking like they're pulling out the back here, and a lot of Pacemaker's teammates are low here, so they just have to get these balls in. They have 3 of them, and it's looking like they do go down here, and that is a 27-point difference with 2 people down for Splat Stangs. It's looking like Pacemaker's just scrambling to get these clams in, and it is unfortunate that they did lose 2 of their footballs, but they do, like, get it down to 18 here, which is crazy to think about. Tokai Teo trying to go as a pencil, going against a Nautilus. Crazy, crazy take there, Tokai. But does unfortunately get punished by it. But it's looking like Pacemaker is trying to keep mid as much as possible, just so Splash Things can't get any close to another push at this moment.
No, it doesn't seem like they can, and Pacemaker just has a good hold on the field right now. We're in overtime right now. Hey, Bale going down mid splashdown, and it seems like because of a break in the basket, Pacemaker takes a set 3-0.
Definitely. It just seemed like Pacemaker had the more paint output, which was causing that blaster on Splash Things just to struggle a bit. And it was kind of interesting to see because they had some really good pushes, but immediately just got shut down because they ran out of turf to move forward, which automatically punished their front lines because they couldn't move any further, which was very sad to see.
Yeah, Spot Stings kind of struggle with the whole set. I feel like what we've discussed before is still true. Spot Stings, while they had a quick comp, they weren't really paint heavy, they were outpainted, and I have a feeling Pacemaker was heavy on the flank and had more screen wipe specials, if that makes sense.
Definitely, yeah. They had more aggressive specials than Splash Things here, which you could see that back was taking so much ink output and just throwing it right back at them, which you could see in that museum where they got a quad with that ink back, which immediately just made them push in and get down to 50 points.
Yeah, and if I was Splat Stings, I probably would have gone with something more paint heavy, like, forgive me if I say this, but Dynamo Roller, or
Yeah,
something like a backline, like, not Stringer. Stringer's not it. I was gonna say, like, Heavy Edit. Heavy Edit. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Splash Things definitely has some things to work on, and Pacemaker got a good point, but it is wrapping up here, and we'll see you guys in groups round 2 shortly. Alright, welcome back everyone to round 2 of Shark Tank Shallow Waters. It's gonna be a pretty interesting round up here because we have a pretty close seed match here from seed 4 to seed 8, which is kind of exciting to see, and we have a little undercover player here playing in under 28, which is, if you know anything about Franken 28s, they have, all of them have a little 28 above their name. And as you can see, somebody here has a little 28s here. So they're definitely being an undercover 28s player here, which I'm excited to see how they're gonna play. And they're gonna be going against Thousand Winters here, which is pretty interesting because I haven't heard of them at all. So I'm really excited to see how the comps are.
Where's my goat? Where's my goat? Where's my goat? Like, I'm a huge fan of Franken 28. Toons is a great animator on TikTok too. Like, I love their animations. Their artist beat. Shout out to the artists. I'm not too familiar with Thousand Winters. I feel like Kipo is very familiar. I can't remember where I found them from.
I'm kind of just stalking their sendos here, but they have Kipo is a Hydra and Edit player, which is exciting to see, considering the maps that we will be playing. But they also have a person named Juno who switches between Squeezer and E-Leader, which is a crazy switch up that if they play either of those, which is crazy to work with. I'm excited to see how that works, and they have a Dualies main as well, so really excited to see how they're going to be playing around with these comps here, because kind of seems like a mixed bag compared to Undertrade's more kind of common weapons that we usually see.
Indeed, Squeezer and E-Leader combo is not something I usually see, and that's really interesting. I want to know what they picked up first and what they're pocketing. I want to say, usually when you have combinations like that, usually the person's an E-Leader main with a Squeezer pocket, but you never know, it could be the other way around. I also want to point out 03. I've seen that name tag before on under 28. I feel like I ran into one of your teammates on X rank or Open, which GG's if that's the case. Actually, I might try to stalk their sendos as well.
I was stalking 03s and they are a Sploosh main.
Oh.
They only play Neo Sploosh.
Oh yeah, Vega! It was Vega that I played against. And can't remember what Vega, I don't remember who you were playing with. It was Elvis, I guess? I know way too many people in the Splatoon community. I'm way too familiar with Welp. Like, I know a lot of people, but they don't...
03's a Wellstring one trick? Oh, that's crazy.
Hold up.
Oh, okay. We just got some insider information that 03 is actually a Wellstring one trick by one of the TOs here. That is their
Where's
teammate.
the Wellstring?
03 is not a Neo Sploosh one trick, it is a Wellstring player.
Wait a minute. I'm
crying.
Oh yeah! They are also affiliated with Ellie, who is a head organizer and production lead for Flat World Series and Under Pressure.
Ooh, that's so cool. So that kind of just twists the narrative here, considering we're gonna be starting off on Tower Control Mako Mart. So it's gonna be interesting if Thousand Winters either pulls out an E-Leader or a Hydra versus more of a Wellstring-centered player. So I'm really excited to see this comp matchup because I may be biased, but I think that E-Leader might smack down a Wellstring pretty clearly on such a map as Mako Mart.
And it is a really interesting map and mode for these comps. It's kind of curses a brush, though.
We are starting off here. Oh, there's the Wellstring, and that is a Hydra on the opposite team here, so this is both teams are a pretty paint heavy comp here, so it's more so the fact that under 28s has a Carbon Deco player going against an Enperry's Dualies. So it's the fight of who's more aggro during whose front line is more aggro during this time.
Whichever's front line is more aggressive, we're going to see a big fight for the tower as two go down on the stack. 1000 Winners has size advantage, giving under 28 the size advantage that they need. One going down. We've got a 3v3. Now we've got size advantage for under 28s, which is going to give an advantage to 1000 Winners. Keep with the defensive bubbler. Being a good anchor, actually. This is some good positioning for Hydra, but if I was Hydra, I'd want to move up a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking like under 28 is getting punished for this push, though, as 1000 Winters is trying to push up as much as they can with the amount of paint output that they have in mid, but they don't see somebody sharking here on right, which might be the Carbon if I'm right. Yep, and it gets one, but it might get a little bit pushed down here as a consequence of trying to get that pick, but gets 2 more, which is a delayed triple for the Carbon here, which makes under 28 just going to get to that checkpoint once again with that bucket, and getting under that bubble for this check is a pretty solid push here, just so they can't go up any further, especially since that wall string is down and they don't have a backline anymore for for under 28s, I mean.
Under 28 is currently on the back foot, and even though they had a triple kill for Fan on the Carbon, they came back really fast on the side of 1000 Winners. But it's not going to stop them from sharking. We have a shark in their natural habitat as a splashdown comes out and gets the Carbon roller. No sharks allowed, and it's Shark Tank, SMH. Ooh, a nice
and
triple.
The Emperor's just got a really good double. Might go for a quad here, actually, but his gets shut down. But that is such a good push here for 1000 Winters if they can continue getting mid advantage here, because that bucket just gets another pick, and they already have 2 down for under 28, which they should be getting on that tower and going as much as they can, because they have 2 specials in their pockets here. I expect that Hydra to be popping that bubble any second now, just so they can get this lead here.
Unfortunately, it seems like their stringer player has been pushed out of position here with the splashdown, denying more space for under 28s. They've got size advantage on 1000 Winners. We've got Cinnabon on the tower guarding it, taking out Fan once again. Just seems like no matter how many people go after under 20 or 1000 Winters, excuse me, they just keep coming back like zombies, and the tower's already at 20 points with just 2 minutes left.
Yeah, that bucket is punishing anyone who is getting close to this tower, especially these dualies and Carbons. With that extra bubble, that is just the cherry on top of the cake, ensuring that 1000 Winters gets this first game. And it's crazy that there was a point where both of the sharking weapons were having a little roommate party and kind of camping next to each other during like the midpoint game. So it's kind of funny to see how that happened, but in the end, that Carbon I think just got a little bit too greedy and fed a bit too much under 28's time, which led the end parades here to get more special output and ensure that that bucket could get some more ledge peaks and make sure that under 28's couldn't get near.
That's completely true, but it's also true that it wasn't entirely the Carbon's fault. Even if they didn't feed, I feel like 1000 Winters still would have kept coming back as fast as they did. They had the paint advantage, and they were going to keep ledge peeking like that anyway. They were just going to keep doing what they do. I'm sure that under 28 could have done something different. You can always do something different as a team, even if you win, but it
Definitely.
one of those things where there's just too many factors to just say, maybe if this player, but I'm not saying that you're wrong though. You could be completely right.
I may also just be biased because I know a lot of Carbon players, but I did also want to bring in the fact that 1000 Winters for the Mako Mart game had so much more defensive specials that they had, so they could ensure that these pushes got like more solidified with the strikes and bubble, making sure that if anyone got nearby, they had that solid defense just to ensure they could get a couple more points on the team. Meanwhile, under 28s had more of an aggressive specials, but because they weren't getting as much paint output, they weren't getting as much specials as they needed. So, like, granted that well string, they didn't get as much special output as they could, which resulted in them going down a lot more.
You know what? You're completely right. Yeah, so that's a pretty good perspective. I'm kind of a brush main, so I don't have the perspective of other weapon players, but
It is looking
I
like
know,
we're
but-
getting here on the next game on a Hagglefish, and that is a different type of Hydra coming out, which I'm excited to see. But it's looking like a V roller comes out instead of Carbon, so definitely going to be sharking a lot more. But that is a Bubble Dualies coming out on the opposite team here instead of Emperors. And they look right off the bat, it's looking like Thousand Winters has more of a paint output here. But under 28s without Wellstring is making sure that nobody gets by at all. And they call out that roller, but does get a pick. And that is 3 down for Thousand Winters here. So I really hope under 28s just goes forward. Just hit that W button and just continue going because they have that paint advantage. Yeah, just hit that just push forward.
And just hold forward at that point, put your s'mores up in their base, just have a campfire. S'mores are really good at this time of year. You just put them over the fire and they just great. As one goes down, they're starting to break out of base on the side of Thousand Winters. Never mind, one of them goes down, and somebody will have to sneak out if they want any hope of getting the zone back. Under 28 is getting payback for last time as Kipo goes down, and we've got 14 ticks left on the board.
Yeah, it's looking like Thousand Winters is not having a good time here. It's just getting locked out, and as a last push effort, the Dualies tries to go in and paint, but just gets slapped in the face by the other Dualies and says, "Nah, you ain't getting past this." That was a really quick game for under 28s, which makes me really excited for game 3 here because under 28s has a completely different motto here compared to what we saw in the tower game. So I'm wondering if it was just like a weapon difference or if they just said, okay, we need to kind of lock in now. So I'm very wondering how it's going to happen in the next game of Humpback.
Considering that under 28s can lock you out really fast if they have the chance to, like they just did, I feel like they have a chance to just do the same thing. But here's the catch. Humpback Pump Track has more terrain, it's a lot bigger, you have more routes to escape. Even if a lockout did occur, you'd have to build specials, and it's not flat zone, it's Rainmaker. So sure, you can lock out, and Rainmaker does get really snowbally when you take it around the elbow, which sucks, especially as a brushman like myself. However, I feel like it can go either way. Thousand Winters did really well with a big map like Aquamart and Tower Control. Sure, it's not Tower Control right now, but
it is more of that defensive game rather than zones. Yeah. So I feel like considering, especially I
feel like Thousand Winters. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead. Definitely go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm hoping I sound coherent right now, but Thousand Winters, I feel like y'all are going to have the advantage here on this map and mode because y'all just keep coming back like zombies and y'all know how to defend. What were you gonna say? I'm so sorry.
I was just saying I'm excited to see the fight for Pop here because as we see under 28 has a Wellstring main, and as you know, Wellstring just shreds through a bubble as fast as possible. But Thousand Winters has a Hydra main, so those two kind of even each other out. So it's more so who's going to be more of the scrappy fighters here to make sure that they can get this pop hitting and just going forward after this initial pop.
I feel like that's going to happen too. And we're about to see what happened. Wait, what?
That is the Silver Aerospray. Silver Aerospray. And that is two different Wellstrings. One's a Wave Breaker and then the other one is a Stamp. That's, as you can see, they're just fighting here as much as possible. Under 20, it's already going down with their aggressive player getting shut down. 2 down under 28s at the moment, so that Wellstring is having to back up here, but does have the stamp, so I wonder if they're just gonna like yeet that thing across the wall just to ensure that they can keep this place. As I say, they're going to yeet that, but does not get anyone with it. But they are getting that push kind of shut down here, as they're going to move to mid here just to make sure that they can get these points onto their side.
Even so, Cinnabon knows how to poke at this group. They know that the other team is kind of out of position, especially Stringer. Just kind of frontlining out here. We've got Carbon clearing things out. We've got size disadvantage for under 28s right now, which gives Thousand Winters long enough to get that dominance, if that makes sense. Cinnabon is keeping things locked down over here as a blaster. Ledge picking like a Smash Bros.
Yeah, that
Ooh,
dread, my bad. That reap was
Dread.
a little bit early, as we see they wanted to go for that push, but unfortunately was not supported by the enemy teammates, what they did get punished by. So it's looking like under 20s is trying to go for another push here, but does go 2 down, and another reef slider comes out, which is 2 going down, and that is, how did they not die? Never. Oh my gosh, that was kind of a crazy living point there, but it is looking like the Wellstring is having to run away as fast as possible, as Thousand Renters is trying to go as fast as possible back into mid here.
They're holding on that Rainmaker really well, taking up a lot of space for themselves, but they'll have to keep going with it because under 28s is on the defense right now. They're immovable unless we can get a Reef Slider in there to take 2 of them out, or just 1, but 2 are down on their side. Their beacon's gone, and it'll have to be up to them to get rid of that Wellstring. And they break through the checkpoint with just 1 point of difference.
Yeah, it is looking like 1,000 Winters is going to try to go for a lead, but the stamp misses the Rainmaker and goes down due to the Kraken coming out, which is crazy to see because they really wanted to get that pick as fast as possible. So under 28 here kind of has to recuperate and recollect themselves to go back into mid and try to get at least more than 20 points back on their side. But considering they're still 2 down on under 28 because of that blaster getting a direct hit, it's gonna be pretty scary to see how under 28s comes to this competition here in mid.
Under 28s is about 21 points, or I don't know math anymore, but let's say 20 or so points away from lead now. Reef Slider helping out with the pop, at least somewhat. Pixel Paint going for that flank here, but not getting it.
Pixel Paint coming in with the paint, with the reef coming out, trying to ensure that the reef slider, like the Rainmaker, doesn't get picked up here. Notices the beacon coming out and tries to punish it, but unfortunately ran out of time and Kraken here. So it's looking like they're just gonna try and get a early pick for under 28s before they get back into this elbow.
Thousand Wonders is really going for it. They are all clustered in the mid area though, so it takes one good coordinated special like Trizuka to take them out, but nothing does right now. We got Reef Slider coming out with Agent going down and size neutrality going to both teams. It's a 2v2 at the moment with Wellstring taking up space as we're guarding the Rainmaker carrier. The Rainmaker carrier will have to just carry it forward just a little bit. You all got 45 seconds left to make a meaningful change in y'all's scores. And I'm just saying,
this is a called out by the Dapples here.
It's a really scrappy fight.
Yeah, they're just fighting for mid at this point, just trying to get that Rainmaker on each other's side. But with only 25 seconds left, under 28s must be having to build specials as fast as possible. Because Thousand Winters has 3 in their pockets right now, so even if under 28s gets a pick, they have a Reef, they have Kraken, they have a Zuka all ready for this team. But the dualies do go down, so that is 2 specials down. Oh my gosh, they're getting slammed. Ooh. That is an unfor Reef coming out, which doesn't get the pick, which it results in this going into overtime with only the Wellstring coming in.
Wait, are we gonna get the lead? Under 28s, are we gonna get the lead? Are we gonna get the lead? 28s?
I think it might get called out by the blaster here, though. And it gets a wipeout on under 28s, which results in them getting the lead.
We love cheering for the underdogs in this household. GG's both teams. The Thousand Winters held it down for all of the match. All it took was a wipeout and a decisive push from under 28s. They locked in.
Yeah,
What do
they
you think?
definitely locked in on these last 2 games. They wanted to ensure that they're going places, and they surely went in overtime to go places, and that was to get the lead because they are winning this with a 2-1 set.
That was really intense. Like, so I said in the beginning that Thousand Winners had the advantage, and they did, but it was just a moment of just the indomitable human spirit just coming through on the side of under 28s.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
need to see a battle replay of that.
Yeah, both teams played exceptionally well considering how close they were. Been
Only dying. And Smolie has turned into a robot. We're gonna go to break as we're gonna figure out what caused roboticization. I think we might have had robotic come in, but it's a ball of knowledge if you know that. Anyways, I guess I'm a robot too. According to at least one of them. The chat here. We're gonna go to break.
back and alive, not being a robot anymore, and we are going to be starting off with round 3 here in Shark Tank. And we are going to be going against and watching Better Than Water, which has a Gatorade profile, and Strictly Splatonic, which has been around in the Shark Tank kind of tournament for a while. So I'm excited to see how these two teams are going to play. Considering Better Than Water has like an E-Dater thing going on with Mrs. Gamer and Mr. Gamer, so I'm wondering if those two are going to be kind of like attached to the hip or something.
Romance in my Splatoon? I'm just kidding. I think it's really sweet. It's really sweet to see it. But for real though, Gatorade, I think that's my favorite flavor of Gatorade. I can't remember what it is. But wait, I love the profile pic with Strictly Splatonic, the Arrow Ace flag. Thank you, Goat. Thank you, Goats, representing me and our people. All my Arrow Ace bros, stand up. But in all seriousness, I don't think I'm familiar with anybody on both sides, but I can't wait to get acquainted with y'all's play styles.
Yeah, it is looking like we'll be starting off with Umami Ruins Clams, which I may be biased, but as a support at backline, as I've mentioned previously, Clams is one of my one of my teams and my favorite map modes because it's such a turntable of events that can happen in like Clam Blitz, because that is like, out of all the modes, I think Clam Blitz has the opportunity to become one of the most like nail biting like sets to kind of happen, because it can just switch so quickly based solely on clan economy. Because even if you're down a player, if you're just solely throw a couple clams in, that automatically gives you a pretty good lead. So I'm excited to see how both these teams kind of deal with Umami's clam economy, because it's a bit like sketchy Umami's like clams are. So I'm excited to see how both of these teams kind of play around that.
I'm really excited to see that too. Umami Clams is really, I keep saying this about everybody, every other map, kind of cursed. It's really big, you have a lot of flank zones, you don't actually have a lot of flank paths. Umami Clams, as a brush, just, if I saw this arrangement of maps and modes, and assign the food to them, right? This would taste worse than coleslaw. And by that I mean like that's ship-shaped cargo, ship-shaped towers, like coleslaw.
Yeah, definitely. I play with a brush / carbon main, and they always get crazy amount of numbers on this map. So I'm excited to see if either of these teams have a brush or roller main, because both said weapons and like the weapon categories go insane on Umami, just because the amount of picks and flicks that they can get on so many points, especially on mid spine here, that can just automatically just up your advantage on this game. Because after you get a pick on spine, you can just hit and just continue running as fast as possible, just so you can get in their spawn and on dome and just probably just lock them out at that point.
It's actually a pretty good idea. I just want to point out for all y'all coleslaw lovers, coleslaw is good when it's made well. I don't think I've had well-made coleslaw, so, you know. But
a friend of mine once back in high school used to say they thought of me as a coleslaw. Like, they said that I had the personality of a coleslaw. Not really sure what that meant, but I'm not a big fan of coleslaw, so it kind of offended me at that point.
Fair enough. I would be offended too. I am so sorry.
No, I find it very funny now, because like coleslaw is just so like, it's gooby looking in my opinion. So I'm 50-50 on coleslaw. My parents love it, but as a picky person, I'm not too big of a fan of it. But I've heard it's good, so I'll just base it off of that. But I'm excited to see what these teams come up with, especially since I believe one of these teams has a Hydra / edit player. So I'm excited to see how they're going to be playing on Dome here, especially if the enemy team has either like a edit or a pen or leader, or if we're going to see kind of what happened in Cracking 28, where they had a Wellstring main.
Ooh, that would be really interesting to see. I want to see, like you were saying, what are we gonna do as a backline? Where are we gonna situate ourselves? Where are we going to? So what are we going to do? And the chat, y'all chat. I'm just gonna say, coleslaw is fine, but if you serve it with something like hot food, I don't understand. Why is something cold being put on the same plate as something hot? What are we doing?
Why? That is a very interesting thing of arguing about coleslaw in this.
My neurodivergence would never allow it. What are we doing? To those that do that, stop it.
Sorry, this is my first time hearing so many people argue about a condiment or slash side of coleslaw in a Splatoon chat. So I'm very amused by this at the moment. But it is looking like we'll be starting up pretty soon for this next match in round 3. So once again, I haven't really looked at either of these teams much, but both of these banners pretty based. But I'm not a big fan of the blue Gatorade, so really hope they change that to a better flavor recently.
Wow, the blue is my favorite flavor.
Nah.
Blue is my favorite flavor. I really like blue.
No, my favorite one's the Glacier Freeze. It's very cheap, like very cherry flavored, but I don't know. I'm also just not a big blueberry fan. So they should switch that to a better color. Just saying, it might make it a bit more hype. We go, Lil Pain.
Wait, so blue is blueberry? I didn't know that. I thought blue was something else entirely. It was like there's something cooler. Something more not abstract. Maybe abstract.
It is looking like we're starting here. Yeah. Ooh! V-Heavy coming out!
This is a good comp. We got Nautilus coming out. We got the Empire Dualies. We got double Dualies, actually. This is going to be really interesting.
And we got the Milk Reef coming out as well. Automatically two goes down for better than water here. Actually, that is just a wipeout. Okay, I don't know exactly what happened here, but Strictly Splatonic is just going and just trying to get as much clams to even make a clam here. And I blinked and they were already in the enemy spawn here, just trying to slap the other teams in the face. Carbon misses the hit and gets punished for it. But it's looking like this push is going to end up kind of being shut down here, as both the backline and the Dread kind of have to be pushed back here just so they can keep mid.
Better Than Water already trying to take control of top mid, but Strictly Platonic is keeping it for themselves. Whoever controls top mid controls the game. And unless we can get them off there, Better Than Water is going to start struggling. They got a ball, they got a stamp which hits nobody. We're ratting over here. Sploosh is ratting, but we've got Collie, we've got teammates teaming up over here.
Yeah, it's looking like they're trying to get another push here, but gets shut down because they didn't have enough aggressive paint towards them. So they get kind of a like pretty easy flank that just happened with the dualies shutting down that clam carrier. But whoa, crazy reef there. But it's looking like Strictly Splatonic is keeping this spine to themselves. They don't want to share and have lunch with the opposite team. They just want to keep it to themselves, and Better Than Water is trying to go forward, but gets shut down, and it's looking like it's kind of just like a 50-50 game here, but Better Than Water does have a ball in hand, but I spoke too soon because that Carbon didn't want that ball coming any closer to their spawn.
Indeed, they are on the defense here. Mrs. Gamer going down. We're gonna see if we can get Mr. Gamer. Oh, yeah, we are together in defeat. It truly is a wonderful union, but the Airways team is like, nah, not in our game. We're gonna take the win. Power of love, more like power of friendship and family. But that's not dunk on love. I'm not trying to. Anyways. Before I commit too hard to the bit here, folks, we're gonna have Shark coming in, and size disadvantage going to Strictly Splatonic. the power of love is winning it out right now. It's at least providing a good defense as we got Nautilus out here going down in a front-lining attempt. It seems as though both teams are in impasse.
Yeah, both teams are just fighting for mid here, as neither of them have that great of a clan Makamani, but that Carbon just is shutting people down as fast as possible. Strictly Splatonic does have the more paint advantage here, because we can see that as long as that Carbon has paint, they're just going forward. As kind of like on the flip side, the Sploosh on Better Than Water is struggling to move around because they're not getting as much paint. So they can't be a rat if there's nowhere to move. So which feels sad because I love Sploosh. Sploosh is a cute weapon to play sometimes, but Strictly Splatonic has somebody on Dome. That Carbon is going crazy, and they're already down to 35 points when Better Than Water has still 100 points.
Oh, we have a DC.
Oh, no!
No, who did we lose? The power of love has caused a DC on the field, folks. We're gonna see if they can push him with the size disadvantage.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that
I think
really
it was
is.
their Carbon that did get disconnected here. It was the Carbon that got a disconnect. So Better Than Water is taking the advantage here and just going forward. But there is an Ink Storm blocking their way. If they run through that, they're going to be way too low to even push through. So they're just trying to be more of a protective here and just make sure they can keep this ball, as there's only 45 seconds left. But that Nautilus is ensuring that nobody can go forward. And they have two specials down, which is a Booyah and Reef. So they are making sure nobody can go forward, even if they have a DC.
Yeah, we're really trying to defend as both go down on... Both people go down on Strictly Better... Oh, not Strictly Platonic. This is Better Than Water. And Strictly Platonic has a really good defense here. But they're going to try to dunk that ball again. And I... Ooh, wait a minute. No lead yet, but we've got a good double on Better Than Water. Triple, actually. We're gonna get a quad. Yeah, we're gonna get a wipeout. And that closes out the match. Oh, no. They've got a ball? Overtime?
Yeah, they do have an overtime here, but they have to get mid back, and with that Milk having Aura and a Booyah, it's gonna be really tricky for this ball to even get past mid here, because they also have that Reef coming out, which picks them out. That Bow getting a crazy quad and just milking the other team out of their base is just kind of crazy. I haven't seen a Milk Reef in a while, so kind of seeing that come out and fight with the Dread was really fun to see.
Seeing the other team get milked alive in 4K is kind of a wild thing to see, and we're talking about with a DC here, Strictly Platonic, going in with, like, that came out longer than I thought. Okay? That didn't mean to come out that way. It's... It's the power of friendship, you know? With the power of friendship, you're gonna milk the other team.
The power of friendship, they managed to milk the other team and get those Booyahs out as fast as possible. But it was very great to see that Strictly Platonic, even with the DC, especially their front line of their Carbon disconnecting, with still 2 minutes left, that they still managed to keep their side up and managed to still win even with that disconnect. But that just shows how great of a defense that team had. And like I said, that Reflux getting a quad near overtime is such a kind of like chef's kiss to make sure, like, yeah, we had a disconnect, but we're gonna still win just because we're gonna avenge our fellow partner here.
Indeed we are. Will the power of love be strong enough to take them through another cursed map and mode that is Shapeship Cargo Co. on tower control? This is cursed for me as a brush. I can never move around anywhere. People are always everywhere on this map mode. It's like, oh yeah, there's a flank. Stike. No, there ain't. There ain't a flank here. No place
Double
to put
dualies
forward,
coming out for Better Than Water here. Whoa.
Yep. Here we go again. Okay, so we
Yeah.
got the twink dualies. We got the twinkle don't. The twinkle dualies.
The twinkle dualies.
I can't say it right. Keep messing
I
it
can't
up.
be picking weapons that have such funny little innuendos, but I digress. As that happens, the carbon is by itself, but that's not stopping them as they are just coming back up and making sure that nobody can get back on this side and taking tower and smacking the heavy. It gets 2 down. So that is a delayed 3 kill for Strictly Splatonic here, and they are going for tower here and just pushing up as much as they can.
Strictly Platonic has the map control. We're going to have the power of friendship, or we're going to just have the power of love here win out today. And friendship's a kind of love. What are we talking about? We got Collie up here on the tower. We've got Mr. Gamer taken out. We've got the Leaf Slider. There's a lot that can happen here. They're in the lead right now. They just have to stay on tower, and we're going to use that Leaf Slider just to try to negate that torpedo. And getting taken out anyway by their anchor. Belusi going down. Balui, I think? Yeah, it was Balui. Bubba Boy. I'm just kidding. But
Probably. But that was kind of a high IQ moment that the Dread did there just to ensure that they could get an extra couple points on the tower here, but just becoming invincible here. But as you can see, Better Than Water doesn't want them to get any more points as they're just punishing as much as they can. Okay, my eyes kind of just blurred there. Kali back on the Dread here, getting a kill and making sure they can get back on tower and make sure they can get as fast as possible back into the enemy court here. But it is looking like somebody's in the pits trying to go for a flank. Does get called out as well, but the Dread does go down as they get punished for not paying attention for this flank.
indeed, we have to pay attention to the flanks here, especially on this map in mode. 22 to 92, 2 minutes 33 seconds left. Mr. Gamer, you gotta be you're a great anchor. You gotta move it a little bit more, but I don't play anchor. I don't know how y'all do with V heavy, but the ink storm's gonna be good area denial unless you want that chip damage.
No, definitely. As somebody who does play a backline and knows a couple B heavies, definitely they should be trying to get more paint output for their team. But whoa, what? That was a Dread moment that totally just happened in front of my eyes. But they're trying to shut down this as fast as possible. Dooley's coming in and just kind of poking them and making sure they can't get up as much as possible. V Heavy coming in, painting up around. Dread coming in just to ensure nobody's left on that top right plat here as well. But it's looking like they are getting the more turf advantage here for Better Than Water, but they have a while to go before they are even safe to even continue working. But as I say that, Streamer Curse does come out and they get wiped out by Strictly Splatonic.
That is the power of friendship right there. We've got a wipeout for Strictly Splatonic. We're going to keep that tower with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining here, but will it be long enough to keep the tower? Nautilus is in a very good spot. We got nobody flanking right now. We've got everybody where we want them. Everybody's clustered. And if there was oh wait a minute, size disadvantage goes to Strictly Splatonic here. Better Than Water has the numbers now. They're gonna have to push forward, but they get pushed back by the Shark Tank. But they got a Shark Tank? Okay, yeah, they got another Shark Tank of their own.
Yeah, definitely.
We got Shark Tanks now.
Yeah, they're just fighting for these corners here just to make sure that nobody gets past each other. But right now, it's just fighting for this elbow here, and the milk goes crazy here because that 2% just went crazy. But it's definitely just fighting for this tower at this moment, and it's just that B Heavy tries to go in but gets slapped in the face by that Dread, and it's right now just the Dread and Nautilus keeping at bay here with only 13 seconds left. Better Than Water has a lot of turf to cover before they even get to the tower.
Indeed, but we got 3 seconds left. All they have to do is GG camp the tower if they want it, and nobody's on that tower. So, of course, the game goes to Strictly Splatonic. Look at that paint control. That's really impressive.
call this a turf control game because oh my gosh, even those corners are painted up in their base. Because wow,
That's the,
I wouldn't
that's the
be
thing.
painting that much, but that is really
That's the
good paint
thing.
control for both teams.
That's the thing. When they train us on Turf War, when we're first starting out, they have a point because even if you're painting a zone, having paint control, even if it's not Turf War, it's important.
Yeah,
It was
and
training us this whole time.
yeah, Strictly Splatonic having both two paint heavy weapons and then that carbon just going in with the amount of paint they're getting from this like their supports and backline. That is just a crazy good run for that carbon. I know they're having the time of their lives just moving around and getting crazy flicks, but I really want to see more from those dualies that are going around for better than water because they kind of just get a poke and then run away as fast as possible. You have that turret mode, you can just go crazy and get some really good kills and flicks with the amount of times that they were really close to tower but just kind of ran away because they were scared of the dread.
Dread is really scary because one moment they're not looking at you, next moment they're drowning you and your teammate, and it's a really paint heavy weapon. We are trading out the dualies for a junior and just for a junior and the Emperor dually.
That is a
On the side of
Splushomatic
Better
I
Than
also
Water.
see as well. So Better Than
I think
Water is definitely changing up their comp here.
the Milk Reflux makes a return for the last almost 2 games ago. Or maybe they were already there. I need to pay more attention to comps. I'm just falling asleep. Well, not actually. I'm wide awake. I'm like 2 copies, you know? The
Oh my gosh,
mango
Baby
goes
Bubble does come
down.
out but gets punished
Wait,
about it.
is it mango or mango? I can't remember the name.
I'm not too sure. But Carbon
Oh,
fight.
Carbon Rat.
Carbon gets the
Carbon
kill.
Rat.
Carbon Rat indeed. That Carbon is getting so much paint output on themselves that they're able to just smack these
Ooh.
people around.
Mango. Mango, more like man gone, because we're out here getting taken down by Strictly Splatonic with 66 points left. If they have left on 6-7, then all people that like memes in the chat will be really happy. We're really upset. That meme should have died in 2025. Rascal's gone. Collie's out here scheming with that Dreadbringer. What are we gonna do? We're going to just be here in base. Are we going to get a Reef Slider, perhaps? Oh,
I
base
definitely think Strictly is going for this special push here. But unfortunately, the Dread gets called out by a Splat Bomb from the Junior. So they are down a player, and the Zuka is trying to call out something, but they're all on right side, which neither of them are like noticing. So they're Better Than Water is just getting the tick down as fast as possible, but Strictly is finally coming in with their Dread and getting that control back onto their side. But now they have to fight this heavy that's on right side to even make sure they can get back into a comfortable spot.
I'd say it's pretty comfortable for Strictly Splatonic, like right now until, yep, Splushmatic does not have the room to rat. She really tried to. Collie is out here, almost landing on that Splat Bomb. Mango out here. We're gonna go over to the left side. It's really nice seeing a dualies main in their natural habitat with Mrs. Gamer going down. Balooey is painting.
Bluey
really
is definitely
suspenseful.
painting. But they're definitely just fighting for mid here, honestly, because they have that heavy stuck on right. Okay, I spoke too soon. Strictly Splatonic gets a crazy wipeout on Better Than Water here, and that milk is going in on right side. I've never heard of a frontline reflux, but first time for everything, I guess, because they're up there. And they're just making sure they have some specials here. They have an Ink Storm just in case they try to get pushed out. But since they were on that right side and on Grace, they can just continuously go back to mid and keep the lead as long as possible.
It seems like we have a lead switch. Strictly Splatonic is in the lead here, leaving Better Than Water in the dust with a Reef Slider coming out, not doing anything. Leggy putting in the work, going up here on the grate, being a rat, making sure nobody gets in. Lil Paint gets caught out, and call them My Little Pony because that was just the power of friendship.
I'm gonna shut
Definitely.
myself out. Look, G4 was peak, okay? I don't know what this G5 BS is.
No, definitely. That Carbon was getting so much great support from its teammates that it was just getting some awesome picks just because they were having so much fun going in as much as possible. That Milk Reflux going in with as much booyahs as it had was just continuously pushing back the enemy team. So they are constantly struggling to even get near a point where they could get mid back into control.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I want to say both teams fought really well. Strictly's Platonic seemed to have. They seem to move as a unit, from what I can say. From what I could see, they moved as a unit. They just kind of knew where to collapse on the other team. Better than water, had their ideas. It seemed like everybody had their own ideas, though. But I think we're gonna go to break, and just want to point out, thanks to somebody in the chat, today is International Asexuality Visibility Day, I think. I think I worded it wrong, but it's really fitting for them to win the set on this day. Now win the tournament. My GOAT D Drive is in this match. Welcome back to Shark Tank 36. I'm still Moku. I'm still rating the company for mint chip ice cream, and Smolie is still Smolie.
I'm still hoping that my computer doesn't explode, as the amount of times I have just been exploding these past couple minutes. As somebody said, Robo Smolie. I really hope that doesn't have to happen again. Once, I guess apparently every time I'm in a Shark Tank commentary, something has to happen. So that's my highlight of the day is Robo Smolie, and then just randomly disconnecting at the beginning as well. But it is looking like we're gonna be starting off this next set with C Drive versus Devious Hooligans, which will be starting out on Rainmaker Scorch Gorge.
Rainmaker on Scorch Gorge. It's cursed. So we've got Arcader, who is my GOAT. We've got UB Zap, who is my GOAT. I don't think I know anybody on Devious Hooligans.
Just looking around, and I'm seeing somebody that's a brush player on Devious Hooligans.
Ooh, wait. What kind of brush are we talking about? Are we talking about like vanilla ink
paintbrush and Octo?
Oh man. It's never vanilla ink brush, and usually when it is an ink brush, people are picking Nouveau.
Like it is Nouveau. It is Nouveau ink brush.
I have no words. Like Nouveau is okay. I just don't know how to drive the hammer.
Definitely. I'm kind of just looking around here. They have another Inkbrush Nouveau player as well on Devious Hooligans. but they also play dualies, so I'm kind of wondering who's going to be playing the brush in this relationship. But they also have a bucket S-Flash decaf player, so I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. So I'm just wondering what their backline plays, and it's looking like they either play E-Leader or Pen. So interesting combos here, so I'm really excited to see if there's going to be anything super crazy going on with these brushes here on Scorch Gorge.
Believe me, brushes usually go crazy on this map mode. Us brushes like to go around the right side, we like to flank from the pits, and we like to get up on mid and try to get folks from the top rope, whether it's dropping down on y'all or just kind of rely on our fall-off shots. And here I am just running Southern again on stream. I don't know how it happened, but... I don't know.
Seeing as there's a couple brushes possibly gonna be in the play here, I'm really excited to see if there's gonna be any like great flanks that are happening here, just so they can distract people from the right check. Because most likely, we mostly see people going towards the right check here, since the left one can get so sketchy, because if you don't have a lot of run speed, you're just so incredibly slow on these grades that it's so scary to run around, because you might get caught out and called out from either somebody underneath or on that snipe.
The grates are really scary because of that. It's why nobody likes to go over the grates and take the Rainmaker on the left, because, like you said, that is a really vulnerable position. So you see everybody, you see that line of action going over to the right side, no matter where you're standing. You could go left, it's a quicker way, but if it wasn't such a vulnerability, then otherwise, just put on some run speed, like you were saying. Just full pures of run speed and just yoink the Rainmaker, just take it in there.
Definitely. Seeing as somebody who gets terrified of brushes and like carbons on this map, I hate this map with a passion, especially for these grades. Seeing that happy little smile with that brush running like straight towards you, just so they can smack you in the face and just continue running and they're going their merry long way, just initiates a rage in me, because I could have stopped them, but no, I'm deaf and don't have my audio on in this game. Never. So I don't catch this flank and I get punished for it, but it is what it is. And then I just freak out and just yell at my team like, guys, there's somebody flanking, and then we all get killed.
Indeed.
There is the paintbrush coming out, and that is a Flingza on the opposite team here. So definitely more of a paint-heavy comp for C-Drive here, but it is two wipers on the side of C-Drive as well. So they're both going to be more aggressive here, but having that paintbrush kind of going against these slower weapons, as I say, because that paintbrush just got a double on two of the teammates on C-Drive here.
We're already ratting with that other Mint Decaf. Mint Decaf is a diabolical pick. We've got a pick on C-Drive. Ray going in for it. Mint Decaf scares me as a brush. We've got the first dunk for Devious Hooligans. First dunk of the set here, or of the match. Missiles coming out.
It's good Ray keeping that right side as long as possible, but unfortunately does have to get pushed out here as all of their teammates are dead. And they're just trying to get that paint output as fast as possible, because they're not taking any chance here to get that check as fast as possible. But they see somebody trying to get a flank, but immediately calls it out, and that paintbrush gets called out for it. So we're seeing that Decaf try to get a pick, but Stamp's coming out, and they get the lead because the Stamp comes out, as well as a pick on the opposite team here. But that is 2 down for Devious Hooligans, and 2 down for Oso C-Drive, but that Flingza is not stopping at any point to make sure they can get as much points as possible here.
Not stopping for anything indeed. Devious Hooligans now on the defensive as C-Drive does have the lead. It's a 30-point lead, or yeah, I don't know my math. I don't have a calculator with me, but jokes aside, Halo with the Rainmaker I'd say it's a good thing they do have the Rainmaker because mid decaf, Ink Brush, and Dualies can frontline and guard for Rainmaker, but they don't have a lot of time left. But look at that, they're pushing into 3 folks over on C Drive.
Yeah, that decaf is going in as fast as possible just so they can make sure this edit gets out of place here. But we see that that edit is chewing off that bubble as fast as possible. And they're trying to stop this flank that happens. But because of that, that Rainmaker is incredibly vulnerable. And we see that decaf coming in just to try and protect it. But that time is ticking on that Rainmaker. And it's going to be super scary to try and stop this. But and we see that Decav on the opposite team of Siege Drive going for a flank and gets the pick on the carrier as well. So it's super scary here. Ray with the push here, but has to unfortunately go back to their own elbow here just so they can stay alive and kind of recuperate with their teammates here.
Indeed. We've got both wipers making it in right now, but one of them getting pushed out. Amber putting a lot of ink on the ground from that Rainmaker explosion. Ink Brush, what are we gonna do? We're gonna rat. We're gonna rat. Brush,
I don't know if
brush,
you saw it, but a stamp came out and they just smacked a wall with it, which is so unfortunate. But they are still pushing in as much as possible. No, they did not get anyone. They just kind of slapped it on the wall there, unfortunately. But the decaf is trying to come in and protect their Rainmaker carrier, but there is a flank happening once again, and they get 2 down on the side of C Drive here, but the Rainmaker does get dropped on the side of Devious Hooligans, which now they have to push back, but ooh, nice pick by the Decapitator here, and they're just trying to go back in for mid-control, but that is 2 down for C Drive, so they might still have a possible push that they can do for Devious Hooligans.
All of them are clustered up on the side of Devious Hooligans in mid as Rainmaker resets 54 versus 31 points with 1 minute and 13 seconds left here. We've got the Dualies in a pinch here going down to Arcader on the wiper. It's looking a little precarious for Devious Hooligans.
It is a bit scary here because we just saw that even though C Drive was 3 down, that wiper was controlling mid as much as possible so they couldn't get a push. So that just bought time for C Drive to get at their enemies back into a stall point here because they have their teammates back. That Stamper is in a great position to be in. And they have more of a mid advantage here, especially since that paintbrush goes down on the side of Devious Hooligans. And they are in control of the Rainmaker in the Rainmaker free zone, which is an incredibly scary thing to do with only 20 seconds left. That is so much time that the paintbrush has just to even go in. But as I say that, the brush gets slapped in the face and the Dualies kind of scrambling to get the Rainmaker and does get it, but they still have to get this pop with both of these teams coming in. And this is going to be such a crazy overtime if it does happen.
Oh, that was a wild swing from the Ultra Stamp, and that is game as the Rainmaker gets picked up by a member of C Drive, giving them the win. I wonder what the Rainmaker tastes like. It's fish, isn't it?
I believe it's a fish, yes. I'm not a big fan of fish, but hopefully the fish people enjoy it. But that was an incredibly interesting game to see for both teams here, since a double wiper team with the fish people, yeah. I dub you guys as the fish people.
The Rainmaker?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to why they're running a double wiper comp, as that is a incredibly risky thing to do, because once those are down they have their backlines, which are why they're kind of slower during this point, and because the enemy team has a paintbrush they could get pushed down and punished for it.
Inkblot Art Academy on clams really does give the advantage to anybody on ink brushes that isn't me, just so they can get the win. Clam Brush is my worst mode of the brush. Everybody looks at brush and says, you do great on Clam Brush. No, I don't. I do terrible on Clam Brush. My worst mode. But Inkblot Art Academy, even though it's my worst mode, it's not my worst map on this mode. Inkblot Clams, it's pretty fun, actually. You have a lot of
bases to hide, you have a lot of places to flank from. You just have a lot more options than most other maps. Like, I am Sturgeon is my absolute low out here.
I despise
Clams-
Sturgeon here.
Sturgeon clams is cursed.
Yeah. Seeing as though they have this brush here, I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna go the more common ramp push here, or if they're gonna try and go for that left side. As we can see that they have that edit and backline to ensure that even if they get on that ramp, they get shut down as fast as possible. And that is a carbon we are seeing on the side of C Drive here.
And we've got another brush coming out. We've got Nouveau making its return. We have the bonk with the hammer brush, with Mint Decaf taking up the left side. What do you think's gonna happen here?
Seeing as though they are struggling a bit to keep mid here, we do see that Devious Hooligans has double dualies here, so they're kind of running a more aggressive front line here than the other team. But we see that they still have more clams to build. They're tossing these things around as much as possible just to even build a clam here. Because they're having to stall this as much as possible, they're getting locked out of this as fast as possible. But that decaf is like stopping that as much as they can. If they can get a ball made, we can see that the decaf is still there, but does unfortunately get called out because they kind of just stopped there a bit too soon, which is a 3 down for DV's Hooligans here.
Which gives C Drive the size advantage at the start to do this, and we've got Crab coming out here. So we've got map control for C Drive now, as we're putting Devious Hooligans in precarious spots. Cisneo with the heavy edit. Now, all I've got to say is, if you want to prevent a lockout, you keep them out of your bats. And it seems like they're doing a good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. As we see, Devious Hooligans does have the mid advantage here, but they're also still struggling to get up on this ramp here, so they must try and figure out what else they can do to get this score in, because we see that these dualies are a bit low here, so I'm just trying to see what they can do to make sure they can ensure this win, but unfortunately the dualies go down with the ball, and as we see this kind of spectator map, Devious Hooligans is running low on the turf advantage here on mid. And we see, whoa, hello, hi dualies coming in on the enemy team base here and getting shut down. The other dualies coming in and trying to like replicate that, but unfortunately does get pushed back and gets punished for it. But C Drive is getting the more turf advantage here, as we can see that they're so yellow at this point. But the brush comes in and gets a double.
Ooh. That brush had a double. They were ratting all over the field. I was gonna say C Drive has the advantage here in terms of paint and space here, but Devious Hooligans has a rat on their side. Bats going down on the side of Devious Hooligans, and no points have been scored yet. Nobody has been able to hold on to their clams.
Yeah, definitely. I can hear the Jeopardy music playing with how long we were waiting even for a clam basket to be opened at this point, because nobody is wanting to move up even close to the ramp to even get a ball in. But thankfully, we see that C Drive has a ball in their hands. So I'm super excited to see if they even try to push up here, even though they are 2 down. So they have to even back out here. So maybe we can see Devious Hooligans try and go for a push here.
With how many clams are lost, it seems like nobody can hold on to their nobody can hold on to their clams here.
But we can see that the brush is in bats here, so no, they're gonna get called out.
Ooh. Ray going down in an unfortunate almost trade. Bats having to retreat back to base and pass the ball to their teammate, but they don't take it. They don't take the ball. We got map advantage for C Drive. C Drive is just everywhere. It is shark infested waters on this shark tank. Their only hope on either team to get any points in is to just cheese it like blanks.
As we can see, Devious is going in for a push here, and they might get the ball in, and they do. Finally, with less than a minute left, we finally get our first score of the game, folks. So It is looking like it's very short-lived though, because that crab is getting chased down to the point of oblivion, and C Drive is back to mid control here.
Indeed they are. And Devious Hooligans having points on the board now. 74 to 100, finally. I looked down for a second, and they finally get points on the board. They can hold a clam, and we're going to treat it like Blake's again with another dunk. Size disadvantage going to C-Drive with a 3v1, but it's really impressive. I feel like they were listening. They know they know ball, they know who Blake's is, they know their cheese strats on this in this mode.
Yeah, definitely a very close game considering the first score was in 2 minutes. But it is looking like if they don't make a ball in time, C Drive will not even have the chance of overtime, which does happen, which the point goes to Devious Hooligans, leading us to a very nail-biting game for the last game here.
On the edge of my seat this whole time, I'm like, who's going to score the clam? Devious Hooligans managing to hold on to their clams as long as possible. It truly was a stall fest.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Both teams bottlenecked to the nines.
Oh, definitely. It is gonna be I'm kind of excited to see how they kind of combated in Clam Blitz for how they are. If there's gonna be any difference in Hagglefish Market, because this map is incredibly stally, even especially for that first checkpoint. If they constantly are shutting each other down, this is gonna be just a point to see who can get past first checkpoint, because with both teams having a wiper, it's just going to be the point of who can get more slashes and more kills at this point, because even turf advantage isn't that much of a strong suit on Hagglefish TC in this point, just because it can be immediately wiped by a special.
You know what? That's really true. If you can get a special out there, you can indeed wipe out the other team really easily on this type of mode. It's very snowbally, very stally, like you were saying. And I've got to point out, you've got to check the streets for street passes on both sides. And if anybody goes, but I was born in 2016 and I don't know what the street passes are, you hand them a 3DS and you tell them to learn about it, right? You know, who would that makes them 10 years old? What I guess if you have, I don't know. I was gonna make a joke, but then it just got way too leaning into logistics out here.
Definitely. I'm really excited to see if anyone does go streets, because if that brush goes around and gets an early flank, that could be a really great push for the team, because having an initial push with a couple down automatically just could make that brush go forward and just slap that edit in the face, because what's the point of having to stop multiple people if you have a brush catching your attention? So even if they kill the brush, they still have to reload their ink and focus on the enemies again, because once you have that paintbrush coming towards you, your eyes just go to them. And it's more so just, are you gonna pay attention to them, or if you're gonna try and protect mid here?
Yeah, it's really a hard decision. If I was a brush main dealing with another brush main, I could be focused on another weapon entirely, but then like, oh, there's this brush there, I have to deal with them and go down and trade or try to catch them out. Which, even if you did get a trade, you're still gone, so it still helps the other team while also hindering them. So it's one of those things. We rely on trades.
Yeah,
Us brushes love trade.
Yeah, considering that only one team here does have cooler, as we can normally see, Hagglefish is a better cooler map here, just because it's so long that even if you die, you have to have a fast retake here, because if not, you're just wasting so much time even getting back to mid. So we see the edit still coming out, C-Drive sticking the same comp, but we see a pen come out on Devious Hooligans here. So both teams having the coolers here and trying to fight for this first pick.
And we're already making a beeline for tower here, with the brush going in on right street and catching somebody out. Mint decaf versus brush. I love these confrontations. Mint Decaf and Brush have had a long-standing rivalry. Mint Decaf whiffing that and going down. I don't even know what happened, missing them by a frame or two, like a few pixels. That happens though. We've got 68 points for Devious Hooligans early on here. But it's still early in the match. The match is still young, the set is still young yet. And
I don't know
they're
if
being
you saw
thrown.
it, but that Brush going crazy in the pit on right, on left there, and still continuously, still being a rat, and they're just bullying this Decaf that constantly trying to fight. But because they're still in that pit there, they have right completely vulnerable on the side of Devious Hooligans. So it's just more so the fact, are they going to continue jumping this Brush, or if they're finally going to actually pay attention to the tower here?
It seems like Tower is really into their base now that they realize Mint Decaf managed to catch them out, but it didn't really stop Tower. We got Crab out here on 10, which takes out. Ooh, Crab got hurt in the Crab Boil.
They missed. Oh my gosh, the Decaf missed the jump in, which resulted in the Paintbrush getting a early pick here. But because they had Cooler, they're already up and running, which the Paintbrush did not have. So they're having to go back in as fast as possible. But we see that C-Drive is kind of going in for a push here. Finally! And it's looking like they're trying to get a special here. That Cooler is out, so they can at least jump in fast as possible. The Brush might be going for a flank here, but did get called out, so they might get picked out.
And that Carbon Roller almost went for a swim and gets caught out by the Snipe Rider. I need that pencil for some art commissions. Thank you very much. Sis Neo goes down. Halo with the pencil. Just keeping an eye on the tower and not getting that point-blank kill on the Decaf, but they get traded out by a Brush.
Yeah, the Dualies and Decaf here, making sure they stop that Carbon Roller from getting in as further as they could, or making sure they can get mid back into their point, but to go down for Devious Hooligans, and that Edit does have a Cooler on their side, which they're throwing around. We see a Stamp come out, but unfortunately gets shut down, and unfortunately that Cooler does get slammed by the tower. But they still have a completely another checkpoint to go through. But we see that their T-Cab is down, and Devious Hooligans is trying to build for specials here, especially as we see a Brush flanking.
I want to play some Eurobeat over this Brush. Look at how fast they're going. Look at that rat strat. Look at that. Look at how fast they're going. Even though they went down to Mint Decaf, they were just ratting it up here with 7 points on the line here. All it takes is just 7 more points for Devious Hooligans to get a knockout. Where's that Brush? That Brush is ratting again. Get the Eurobeat out. I know. I have a. That's a wipeout. That's a wipeout. Just Eurobeat intensifies.
Yeah, definitely. They have a minute and a half left for C-Drive to get down to less than 7 points. And it is looking like that Cooler is going to get shut down by Tower, which is so unfortunate. I've done it many times, but it still hurts my heart to see that happen. But C-Drive is trying to push out these Dualies and the Brush. But I'm just wondering if that Brush is going to pull the same kind of push where they just stayed on left here, or if they're going to try to play more of like a team comp fight on the ramp.
Getting caught out before we could throw that hammer. No bonking the day for the hammer player. We've got Bats running away with low health. We got them running away. Ooh, getting caught out by the Mint Decaf. Mint Decaf is on the defense here. We're going to try to get some paint control and another chance at a push here for C-Drive with 40 seconds left in the set.
Yeah, that Paintbrush keeping control of the right side here. Switches with the Decaf, which is a crazy pick for this Brush, and is just kind of being a menace on the right side here. Gets called out, and that is a wipeout on the side of C-Drive. So that Paintbrush is just going forward. They're holding that forward button and just making sure they can build another stand for a possible overtime if C-Drive is able to get the tower back. But because Hooligans does have so much paint advantage on the enemy's switchback, it might be really hard for C-Drive to even get a push in, as we can see that Devious Hooligans does take the point.
Devious Hooligans taking set. GG's both teams. And I know it's a play all three, but I'm just going by points.
both teams here did exceptionally well. Devious Hooligans just having better turf control and having that brush just becoming a rat, especially on this Hagglefish game, was incredibly great. As we end off here, where can people find you, Moku?
You can find me on Blue Sky at mokudraws1020.bsky.social. You can find me on TikTok. See my clips of me milking kills from other teams. Like I've gotten fought before. Moku8386. And you can find me on Discord, Moku_1020. What about you, Smolie?
You can find me on twitch.tv, Smolie Voids. I typically stream Splatoon and some other cozy comfy games, but that's mainly the social I use. But coming up, we will have a new bunch of commentators coming in for the first Gold Shark bracket here for round 1.
Are we on? I'm just assuming so. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shark Tank Shallow Waters Gold Bracket Edition. I am Topic, joined by the wonderful DHVF, and for you, we have a very, very interesting matchup. We have Wins be throwing. Wins, please don't throw. It'd be nice if you didn't. Versus USF Green. And DH, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's been a while since I commentated this event. I'm excited to be back into it. And we'll have to see. I mean, I know USF Green, they're a CCA team for the University of South Florida. If you've been playing low events, you've been playing CCA, you've probably seen them around. And they're looking to take home Blahai badge here in Shark Tank number 36 here. But they'll have to go against Wins Be Throwing. And I know for them, they probably will be hoping that the Wins do be throwing. We'll have to see though as we get into Mahi Mai Resort here for game one.
I mean, I hope that Wind isn't throwing because Wind is a member on their team. So if they're throwing, no badge for them. But yeah, starting off Mahi Mahi Resort. I like this map. I think it's pretty decent. It is very good for, especially once the water level drops. Very good for like short range shooters or short range weapons like your blasters, like your like those like your carbons, like your brushes, like those weapons that are really, really good at close quarters combat are very, very good, especially before the water level drops. Then when it comes to after it drops, it just becomes a very wide open battlefield that both teams have to fight through. And I think the biggest thing or the biggest hurdle for both teams is going to be getting not only the snipe area of the enemy team, but also getting past that, getting to plat. Because if you get towards plat, it can be very, very hard to break out of a lockout.
Absolutely. I mean, I think even before the water drops, after water drops, this is a very hard map to get out if you get fully locked out, if you get fully taken out in mid. So we'll have to see what these teams are cooking up when that happens, or if it happens, I should say. I think you need to be coordinated. You need to have likely specials intact. And I think teams at this level, they're not always able to rise to the occasion when that pressure is applied, just because the nature of how many one-way drops are, how many ways that people dropping are just funneled into very specific parts of the map. It's something that teams really have to practice at and really make sure they're doing. But I know for Wins Be Throwing, they do have a brush player. We'll have to see if it can maybe get some value. I know this is not the best brush map in the world. I know a couple of my brush fans, they absolutely hate this map. There's just not a lot of good places to drop. There's not a lot of good flank routes. It's one of the more linear maps in the game. So we'll have to see how they end up approaching it.
I mean, I can see why this is not good for brush. I mean, it's very congested. It's very confined. Like, you aren't truly able to get behind the enemy because for most of this map, you have to kind of face them head on. So if you're UCF Green, I think you have to use that to your advantage here, especially before the water level drops. You just have to make sure that the brush is always in front of you. You have to make sure you at least one person looking at them. You got to make sure that at least one person is there to make sure that the brush isn't doing any shenanigans or trying to get behind you. I think that's going to be very, very big for USF Green. And for Wins Be Throwing, now, I won't say the brush is your win condition per se, but I think making sure that the brush is able to cause a distraction and let the other members kind of get into the groove of things is important. But enough speculation. We're getting straight into the game. So like Wins Be Throwing, bringing out that brush plus wiper, very short range, very aggressive comp from the other side from UCF Green, going kind of short range as well with the roller plus the junior, but you know what, I like it. You have bubble to protect. Oh, you have double bubble to protect the zone. You have the dread to with the reslider to help out as well. So a lot of paint. I like it.
We're getting started right into this match here. It's going to be Wins Be Throwing taking the zone after initial cap from USF Green. Two are down on both sides, but here comes Citrus dropping now with this bubble. Going to pop this bubble, try to get rid of the wave breaker. Here comes the Ultra Stamp. That's going to be Beam with that ink brush on the Ultra Stamp. Or actually, I think that's going to be the Wiper player, not Beam. But nonetheless, Wins Be Throwing does get an early cap on this zone, and they look to have locked out USF Green to a good degree here.
Yeah, they look to be doing that, and doing that they are. You see Coolers trying to be popped along with that Reef as well to capture the zone, small zone. There it is. Reef is going to be enough to recapture and not go down as well. Very, very impressive from UCF Green to not go down immediately after that Reef side and just keep zone painted, keep zone in control here. But the Wiper for Winsby throwing is going to be able to at least keep the zone painted, keep the zone in favor of Winsby Green and keep mid control. Get a little further with that hammer as well is going to be very, very useful here. You see they're staying alive for a little bit longer. Nice shred there by the heavy edit alongside the Reef and the Cooler. The hammer not quite able to find a pick. They're going to go down as well. So USF Green, great job of bouncing back and great job of just keeping control of the zone and pushing Winsby throwing back and doing a great job of that and possibly getting the lead here.
Yeah, US Green, they have a really good. This is what I was going to retake a start. You're going to see one Ultra Stamp go down from Winsby throwing. And they do manage to neutralize that roller here to create a 3v3 situation. They stop the zone. They find a kill on the junior. Winsby throwing doing a nice shot again, but here comes a slider. Corey Cosmic there, able to get two. They do lose the zone though, and that's a delayed wipeout. There are going to be jumps in. We'll see if Winsby throwing can camp them. Not quite. They managed to escape to the far corners of the map and jump out. But Winsby throwing, that's a win for them. I thought things were going to get a bit ugly there after that slider, but they managed to get back in. They managed to get back in stably nonetheless. They have mid. They locked out USF Green, and now USF Green, they're on the back foot again.
I mean, yeah, but that double bubble is going to be very, very helpful here. You see the roller getting one going down, the hammer coming out, but the Reef going to counter it. There's a lot of specials going down, and the bubble from USF Green is going to be just enough to get Corey in, get them safe, and just paint the zone. Great job. Even though their comp doesn't really have that real forcible entrance other than their Reef used the bubbles very well by biding their time to just allow them to get in. You see, doing a great job of just kind of capitalizing on that, getting out of their penalty. That heavy Mooney, very aggressive here, just putting up that force, backing out. But as you can see, they're going to have Cooler soon. They have Reef, so if you're Winsby throwing, you got to be careful about dropping there. Corey punishing getting a nice punish there. He's getting off a lot of damage. You see the Winsby throwing, just reeling with a third double, I believe, this game with Reef Slider. So very, very good job there. And that will cap it off. USF Green, very, very dominant game, I will say. Shout out to Corey Cosmic. I believe those 3 Reef Sliders that they popped that got that got double kills really kind of set the tone where even though Winsby throwing, they had control of zone, they had a lot of space. Reef Slider says, nah, I'd win, and it just worked because they won.
Yeah, for a map that's as small as Mahime with so many close quarters interactions, especially around that zone, Reef Slider is going to be a special that's going to excel, and that's exactly what you saw from USF Green and Corey Cosmic on that Dreadwinger. Every slider they popped seemed like it was getting one, leading to more kills down the road, and they just expertly played around it. Their teammates expertly moved up with it, and again, like once they got to that plat and got fully established there, it was pretty much over for Winsby throwing. That's just not the situation in the game where you can really have and expect to get in back in the zone on a map like Mai, where there's no really good ways to flank. You just kind of like gotta run at the team, but when you run at the team, there's one-way drops. It's just a total mess and really just an impossible situation for Winsby throwing. But credit to USF Green for getting into that situation into the first place. That's a very strong lockout you don't see every team get to, even if they do manage to win the map. And I mean, like, I look at Mooney on that heavy edit, like, once they got that really established control there, I feel like that was sort of the turning point in the match to really signal the point of no return for Winsby Throwing's ability to win that match.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as we go to game number 2, Museum de Alfontino, I think for Winsby Throwing, this is brush map in my mind, right? It's a big open map. You have a lot of angles to kind of go off of. You can kind of get behind the opponents by going on ramp or going on the far right or the far left, kind of be a distraction. I think so. I think for Winsby Throwing, this is kind of your opportunity to have your brush player kind of show its value here. But I think for USF Green, having that double bubble, especially if you get onto plat, is a deadly combination. Plus that roof-sided, but we're gonna see if they're gonna change anything here. Winsby throwing, they like their comp for USF Green. Mooney going over for that pen, that long-range threat to kind of cancel out wins, if one might say. Just making sure that you keep them in check is very, very big here. You see almost immediately though, the brush going for an immediate right, or yeah, immediate left side flank. Gonna get one, gonna get two actually. So Winsby throwing, starting this game off really, really strong here. Just a really, really aggressive start. You see them going a little bit ham, and we are 30 seconds into the game. And can you believe it? Winsby throwing not only got that checkpoint, they are still going down to 52, maybe even further. The hammer gets a double kill. The Rainmaker is still going
Oh my. Oh.
out of the well. This might be game here. We love Rainmaker, but unfortunately USF Green is gonna spawn, is gonna stop it, and that is going to be the end of the push. That Reefs had to kind of put a bow on that, but Winsby throwing a minute into the game, 12 points on the board. USF Green, that is a very, very large hole they have to climb themselves out of really quickly.
USF Green does manage to drop that Rainmaker. They don't get very far once it drops, but at least stops the bleeding for now. And Winsby throwing, after that Game 1 loss, they have emphatically responded in Game 2 here. They already have a lead that's good enough to win most games on Museum Rain. They have full control of mid. I mean, just look at how much yellow paint is there. They get a nice kill on that roller behind the spinner. The Rainmaker resets, and look at how much mid is controlled by Winsby throwing right here. They're gonna be able to pick up the rain again if they so choose. There's still 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Plenty of time. But, I mean, USF Green, they have to drop into that wide, expansive mid if they want to even get a chance to grab the Rainmaker, let alone contest that massive lead that Winsby Throne has built up. They do manage to pick up this Rainmaker here. They get a bubble up by that ramp. That's going to be very useful, but can they play around it? Cool Cat on this roller looks to move forward. Mooney makes the jump, and they get the check. They go down for it, but some nice momentum there for USF Green, who looks to come back in this game.
I mean, yeah, that's big there, even though you're not going to get a whole lot out of it because you are going to go down. Just getting through that checkpoint makes scoring in the future a lot easier, but getting to that future is going to be very, very difficult here because you see, they're going to have, Sorry is going to have a hammer at the race. They have to be at least a little bit careful out. There it is, restart coming out from Corey. Not going to get the pick, going to get traded out by Wins there. Wins not throwing, in fact, getting a nice double, maybe a triple kill on, I believe, the junior is going to get the triple kill on Switchers as well. So Wins be throwing, not throwing, is just doing a great job of keeping their team in there, doing a great job of allowing their team to just go off. See the hammer in the background, getting a nice pick there onto the Dread. Another one going to go down, no roller as well. So now Winsby throwing, if at this point, you can just try to get as far onto the plat of USF Green as possible, make them waste as much time as possible, just getting positive momentum here, getting positive motion here. And so far, it's working out really well for them as another pick going down on Corey. So no reset and no immediate damage special on the board for USF Green is going to be very, very big here. But even without that, they're able to at least kind of stall out with these bubbles. Is it going to work out here for, looks like a little while longer here.
Oh, that was some nice evasion there by that Rainmaker carrier on Winsby throwing that heavy, just lasting way longer than it had any right to. They get the Rainmaker all the way to the top of the spinner. USF Green's going to pick it and try to start their counter push here, but Winsby, they're all back. They're mostly set up on mid or their plat. They have a good defense. They kill that Dreadringer really early onto the push. They're not going to have that slider for a bit. Beam here on the flank, going to help. Pops a stamp, tries to throw. It's not going to find a kill. They go down for it. And Winsby throwing, they are 3 down. They do still have a wiper with the Ultra Stamp of their own, but I mean, it's still a very long way. I mean, USF Green, they're not going super fast right now. They have a long way to go still. Here comes that aforementioned Ultra Stamp. It's going to get popped. Still going. Going to go down. Wow, dangerous there for USF Green, but they managed to survive all 4 members through it. USF Green, they look to move forward. They don't quite have any specials yet. Corey Cosmic there gets the top of the spinner, going to contest this crab, dodging through shots, not going to quite find it. They had the high ground but couldn't find the kill, and the Rainmaker goes down for USF Green.
Yeah, they got a couple more points on the board, but at this point of the game, a few points here and there aren't really going to matter here. You're going to need a big, consistent, a very good push if you want to break through this kind of wall that Winsby throwing has been setting up here, because now you have to fight through not only the crab, well, not anymore, the crab, the heavy, alongside the hammer as well. But it looks like USF Green, Cool Cat getting set up on that grate is very, very dangerous for Winsby throwing. You see the winds just being that stalwart defensive force for Winsby Throwing is going to work out here. They're going to get it, and they're going to take it to the very, very funny spot on the glass. Yup, there they are. 2 members down. It's just Citrus on that junior. They're going to go down as well. Rainmaker is going to be reset. Overtime has started, but no one's there from USF Green. They're going to pop it. They're going to take it. And Winsby Throwing. Okay, you see, they had a lot of momentum very early on, right? They got to 12 points in under a minute. That immediately put Winsby Throwing immediately put USF Green at such a major disadvantage that they just had to kind of force fights, right? They had to force fights. They had to kind of force plays. And unfortunately for USF Green, Winsby Throwing, they were just ready for it.
Yeah, we got a full-on brawl right here in Gold Rec quarterfinals. USF Green, they start very strong on game 1. They cruise to a KO. Winsby Throwing, they're not deterred. They punch right back. They get an opening push all the way to 12 and hold on to the lead from there. They tie this setup and set up a pivotal game 3 here from Barnacle Clams. And I'm very interested to see how USF Green responds here. We saw Winsby Throwing respond after losing a game in that last game in game 2. And I think we're going to need to see USF Green punch back, see if they can keep pace with just how fast Winsby Throwing was that game. You look at the brush, you look at the wiper, you look at how quickly they're able to just move from mid towards that end goal on Rainmaker. And Barnacle Clams is going to be a similar story. If they can't control plat, if they can't control basket area, the faster team in Winsby Throwing is going to have an advantage here. So I'm very interested to see what USF Green's going to have for that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to kind of be more wary of that because, like you said, Winsby Throwing, they had a very, very strong opening. They had a very, very quick opening. They had a very, very in-your-face opening, and it worked out. They had the brush pushing up. They had the wiper pushing up. They had the splash supporting with the crab. So I think if you're USF Green, you kind of have to, I'll say not expect it, but you have to be ready for it, right? Now, this map, there isn't quite as quick of a way to the enemy side that can, how do I explain it? Like, there is a quick way, but there's not at the same time. Where it's just difficult to push forward here. But we're going to see if USF Green can kind of fend off Winsby Throwing. But Winsby Throwing kind of make their way back. You see no comp changes from either. No, one comp change, in fact. We're going to see Mooney switching back over to that heavy edit. I think that's indicative of a much faster game they want to try to play. A much more in-your-face game and kind of trying to match what Winsby Throwing has been, well, throwing at them.
Yeah, very interesting stuff here. As we do see the heavy go down a bit earlier than Winsby Throwing probably would have liked. Citrus here on this junior going to move forward with the team. That's all 4 members of USF Green moving up in perfect synchronization. Citrus going to go back to maybe pick some clams away, but look at Beam. Does USF Green know that Beam is behind them? They are close to a ball. They need 2 more clams. They have an ultra step. Here it comes. It's going to get canceled. Dangerous by USF Green, but they deal with it nonetheless. And just like that, it's 3 down. And USF Green is ready to start their push. Here comes Citrus, pops the bubble, throwing in clams. This could be a devastating push if Winsby Throwing doesn't clean it up quickly. Citrus gonna opt to back up the stack, and USF Green, they're mostly out of clams. The roller's gonna try and sneak in though, keeps that basket open for just a little bit longer. USF Green starting fast here.
I mean, yeah, they started it fast. They saw what Winsby Throwing did last game and saying, hey, we're going to do that. And they're doing it just indeed, getting down to 56 points remaining. But this is kind of what happens if you play fast. The other team can just take a lot of space. You see most of mid, if not all of it, is painted in Winsby Throwing's color. But breaking through is going to be a bit of a challenge here. They have the crab plus hammer. Not anymore. Crab goes down. Hammer goes down as well. So as quickly as that push was materializing, it's not. USF Green kind of shutting the door and taking back a lot of space very quickly with Corey there on the dread, pushing up, kind of get wins there. Disorganized, and it's going to work out for at least a second here. So Winsby Throwing is just putting on the pressure. They're not letting Winsby Throwing have anything of the sort. The Reef just kind of canceling out the crab. Golden has not had a great game here, as every time they popped crab, they just been canceled almost immediately here. So USF Green, great job of just making sure that that crab can get no value whatsoever. And now they're just kind of sitting on plat, waiting for possibly a reef or a bubble to kind of find their way in, or possibly a couple picks. But Winsby Throwing kind of holding on, closing that door, but pushing forward. like I say, are they gonna be able to get points on the board here? Because last time they were in this good of a spot, USF Green kind of shut that down.
They do have some momentum there. They managed to get to the stack of USF Green. They have a lot of clams here. The Ultra Stem's going to make their way into the basket area. It's going to open the door for one clam to be scored, but USF Green, they need to be careful here. Two go down, one clam going in. It's going to get taken out before it can get thrown. Great defense by USF Green, and they might want to look to counter push here. Corey Cosmic moving up very quickly to the stack of Winsby throwing. Still there. They got a cooler there not to help. The rest of USF Green is with them now. They swarm. They find a kill on the wiper. They have a bubble. They have a slider. It can be dangerous if Winsby throwing doesn't act fast. B moving forward on the stack, trying to deter the members of USF Green. They're all alone now for now. They're going to still hold the stack. USF Green's going to move back into mid, but they have a lot of paint control. It's a lot of blue on the map right now. Citrus on the junior still holding the bubble. The Stamp's going to come forward though. It's going to find everyone but Citrus. The throw's going to get Citrus. It's a delayed wipe for Winsby throwing, and the counterattack is fully on. B moving in. Power Clams being scored. They're close to lead. They don't quite have it yet. It's a splash with the Clams. The splash gets it. That's a lead switch and some more. Winsby throwing gets it all the way to 44.
I mean, yeah, you saw Winsby throwing. They held on. They bided their time, and they attacked fast and hard enough to retake that lead. Now, USF Green is on their back foot. You saw multiple times they had opportunities, but now double bubble, or at least one bubble at the ready. But once again, I think that's a kind of a thing that with their comp is that they're kind of reliant on the Reef Slider to kind of force fights, or reliant on the Reef Slider to kind of get these picks or get their teammate. Because without it, they have a real tough time pushing because they have cooler and double bubble. Well, yes, double bubble is good at taking space. Getting that space is a whole nother story here. And so far, Winsby throwing is doing a great job of mainly using these hammers to kind of deter either the roller or the junior from pushing in, and just making sure that they cannot get any space, and they're keeping Corey down as well, making sure that the Reef cannot be used in very, very good spots. And so far, it's working out really well for them because Corey once again getting shut down. And if you're Winsby throwing, you're looking really, really good here. Just kind of keep holding on, kind of keep pushing USF Green back, and this game's as good as one.
Yeah, just 13 seconds left. The Winsby throwing, going 2 down, leaving the door open for USF Green. USF Green continues to get kills, but they're 3 down now too. It's just Cool Cat. They gotta help get this clam back. Try to survive. They managed to throw it back. Overtime has set in. USF Green, the time to start moving forward is now. Clam puts overtime. It goes by in the blink of an eye if you're not careful. People going down on both sides. It's a bit chaotic in mid. Another bubble comes up, but USF Green's 2 down again. The slider comes out, maybe a bit early. It's not going to quite get the value you wanted. 2 down again on USF Green. They're going to move it though, and it's just short. Winsby throwing survives by the thinnest of margins. USF Green got so close. They got the ball up, but time ran out before that barrier could break. And because of that, their run in Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 36 is finished.
Hey, I mean, at least now you can say Wins is definitely not throwing, at least for this round. But yeah, I think shout out to Winsby throwing for just kind of holding on. I think, I know I kind of mentioned it during the set, but for USF Green, I will say their comp is a little over reliant, I will say, on Corey kind of getting in with that Reef to kind of build space for both the roller and the junior to pop bubble. So without that Reef, they really don't have an entrance tool. They really don't have a way to kind of disorientate or dislodge the members of Winsby throwing. And for Winsby throwing, they saw that and they just kind of did what we just saw. They got Corey Cosmic down, so no Reef, no Dre. And with that, the biggest threat being gone, both Cool Cat and Citrus just really couldn't move forward because they had to be consistently worried about the wiper or the brush flanking or popping hammer or the crab or Golden's crabs with splash, or just Wins with the heavy just putting on a lot of pressure from a very far distance you can't really deal with. So it's just unfortunate for USF Green, but shout out to Winsby throwing. They lost game 1. They came back with a vengeance in game number 2, and they held on for game 3 to move on to semis.
Yeah, really great response in overall. I mean, I talked about this a bit after game 2, but I mean, like, you go back to game 1, which is very one-sided in favor of USF Green. Winsby throwing did not give up. They did not throw in the towel. They did not get intimidated by the fact that game 1 went so poorly for them. They responded really nicely. Like they just they did not give up in any way, and they continued. They got a dominant win game 2, and they held on for a very tightly contested game 3 to take the set, move on to semis, and we'll have to see if we see them again here. We will be streaming the other semifinals match that does not include wind speed throwing, but if they make it to finals, we will see them there. They will be playing Cool Dog Pick in semifinals. Pay attention to the bracket if you want to find out how that goes, but for now, we will be heading to break. You can catch us streaming the other semifinal set very soon.
See ya. Right, and Oxy, can you please count us in when we were going in? Because I was so confused when we were going in. Oh, never mind, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Shark Tank. Welcome to Shark Tank Shallow Waters, the gold semis. We have another very interesting matchup for you. We have 3 forts combo versus Overwatch. DH, what are your thoughts on Overwatch? I think it's alright. Overwatch 2 kind of killed it.
I mean, I've never played either of the games, so I can't say for sure, but I mean, Overwatch, the team that we're about to see now, I mean, they could be anything. I mean, like, we'll have to see how they fare. They're one win away.
Overwatch.
Yeah, no, they're one win away from punching their ticket to finals, so we'll have to see what they have. I know for the other team, 3 forts combo, I know that appears to be a pickup of the team full combo. I'm assuming they're missing 1 out of 4 of their teammates, but I mean, they're a very interesting team. I think from what I've seen from them, they play very fast, very aggressively. I know they have like a really good bucket who goes to Big Dapple a lot. Shout out Big Dapple, by the way. Hey, so that'll be Jay there. They have, I believe, a Decaf, a Splattershot Pro, And I believe their sub, Hilo, they play Dread. They're a very good Dread player. I know I personally played with them a lot. So 3-4 combo, they're a very interesting team. I think they're absolutely a threat to take home the win here today in Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 36. So interested to see what they can have for us here.
I mean, yeah, I can speak from personal experience. I've played against full combo a lot recently, and in scrims, and yeah, like you said, they're a very strong team. Bunny is a dread player. Away healer is a Splatana stamper. I want to say he means the stickers one, and I believe Rare is also. No, yeah, Rare plays pro mainly. So I'm excited to see those guys again. Jay is unfortunately not here, so we will not be seeing the full combo as part of their name. They're
I
the
guess that makes
3-4
sense
combo.
then. I guess that makes sense. Well, that means they will have Hilo subbing in. I mean, it's a similar role with the Dread. They are a very talented Dread player. We'll see if they opt to run Dread. I know they play a bunch of different weapons as well, a lot of buckets in particular. But, I mean, if you look at this first map, Mako Mart Tower Control, I do think it's one that plays really well into what 3-4 combo wants to do. Very fast-paced, very fight-heavy. Like, there's going to be just a lot of carnage, a lot of AoE in mid. That's exactly what they want to play to. So it'll be very interesting to see how Overwatch responds to it.
Yeah, me too. And just taking a quick look through Overwatch's teams, it looks like they do have a Carbon one trick, they have a Tent player, and they have a Sploosh player. Very interesting weapons from them. I would expect a very, very in-your-face, very, very up-close and personal kind of play style from them as well. So like you said, both these teams kind of they like playing fast, they like playing aggressive, they like playing kind of their tempo. So I would not be surprised if we see a lot of picks immediately. I would not be surprised, or actually no, I would expect both these teams kind of fight for either stack, either the left or right stack almost immediately, because when it comes to Tower Mako, getting the the left stack may not be as important immediately, but it is very, very vital in getting past that second checkpoint, which is kind of the biggest choke point of this map. Because first checkpoint, while yes, it can be affected by like chargers and by splatlings, you are relatively safe. But that second checkpoint is like the biggest choke point, and if you get past that second checkpoint, then that kind of increases your chances to win the game exponentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does come down to that second checkpoint. If you get past it, it feels like you're almost home free in a way. That like you just have to lock down defense, get a GG special if you have it, and then just wrap up the game. If neither team can get through it, however, it becomes very, very hotly contested. Lead can come down to like just like a couple points here or there. It can become like almost a completely different game. So I think like with how volatile these teams seem to be, playing aggressively, playing around the stacks, it'll be very interesting to see if we get the sort of defensive game, or if we're gonna see one team, just like win a big team fight, get past that second checkpoint, and lock in to defend that more easily defended lead. We'll have to see though, as we are just moments away from getting into game one here.
Yeah, and I know we were talking a little bit about it earlier specifically for 3-4's combo. I'm interested to see if they actually stick with V-Dread. Right, now I'm a Dreadbringer player. I love the weapon. And the only thing I think I am a little bit, not skeptical, but like a little bit iffy on is the Reef Slider. While yes, it is very good on this map, it's in my mind the main uses for it are clearing snipe and clearing freezer. Now, if they're able to gain good positions, great. And also, it can kind of serve as a GG special if you Reef Slider onto tower from snipe. That can work. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of stick to V-Slosh, because one, I think it's slightly better than Dread on this map, very slightly, because it's a lot faster. And two, you have GG strikes. 8 GG strikes. What else can I say about it? It's tower.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think like at some point you're gonna have to see that like all buckets pretty much are gonna be good on Malcolm Tower. It's like seeing like the AoE map. Like Slosh is gonna be good there. Dread's gonna be good there. And I do think that the conventional pick there is Slosher, but I know that Hilo, they just tend to prioritize Dread. That's mainly what they've been pushing. In any case, they're going to be good with whatever they pick, and we do see that they go to that bucket. That's 2 pairs of strikes for 3-4's combo along with the T-Tech.
Ooh.
We also see a GG special from Overwatch with 2-How on the sticker stamper. And we do see a V-Dread coming up from them as well. So very interesting cops. It's like, that's triple AoE for 3/4 combo with the Dynamo, the Painburst Nouveau, and the Slosher here. We're going to see Arashi on the Wiper, flanking all the way to spawn. They might look to drop back around. Two of their teammates go down. Doesn't matter. They find one kill. They find a second kill.
Okay.
Can't find the third, but a great flank from Arashi to help their teammate kind of stabilize after they go down to mid.
I mean, yeah, but it did work for a second here where you see already 3/4 combo kind of chugging along. And interestingly, away healer on the Paintbrush Nouveau, I believe that's the missiles one. Very interesting pick from there. It does work. The Dread gonna get 2. And now with 2-How or show, however, I'm sorry I pronounced that, but just kind of nice comboing there with that big AoE from the Reef Slider. And now Overwatch kind of restabilizing really well here, going on the offensive. But if you're a 3/4 combo, that ledge is kind of away healer's kind of position. You sit up there, you like just swing your brush around and around. There's nothing a lot they can do here, but it looks like Overwatch will kind of easily break through that first checkpoint. The strikes will stop the tower for now, and it looks like Overwatch eventually we're gonna get right back on the tower and keep it pushing towards that second checkpoint, that vital choke point.
Arashi, they make the jump all the way to the spawn of 3/4 combo. They're going to do a good job clearing space in front of tower here. They're still alive.
Ooh.
Finds a nice kill on Rare on the Dynamo there. Still moving forward, and they have an Ultra Stamp to boot. They're going to pop that stamp now. Going to find it to complete the wipeout. Arashi putting the team on their back. They help get past that second checkpoint, and they're almost to that knockup. They have one more checkpoint to get through. 3/4 combo is nowhere near the tower. They're going to get past that checkpoint, and Overwatch is going to get the knockout. That Tower Raider died, but it didn't matter. That tower just slid right on over to 0 points remaining. They take a 1-0 lead here in this set.
I mean, yeah, Overwatch kind of acting like 2016 Overwatch, kind of sweeping through the Game Awards in that case, but just sweeping through 3/4 combo like it was nothing, like a hot knife through butter. Honestly, shout out Arashi. Like, I was a little skeptical of the immediate flank off rip, but it worked out. The rest of the team kind of knew what they were gonna do. They followed up on it really well, and they just kind of worked off of that, and it worked really well in their favor. Now for 3/4 combo, they just kind of got ran at, and there wasn't a whole lot they could do to combat that. Now, I don't think that Rare for 3/4 combo got a single cooler, at least in my short recollection of the game. I don't think there was a single cooler popped out from Rare, so that kind of exacerbated that kind of that desperation, I will say, from 3/4 combo to kind of force a fight, where it just didn't work out in their favor. Yes, they did stall tower with those tri-strikes, but Overwatch kind of just popped off for a second, popped right back on, and kept it pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to go back to when Overwatch got the tower initially to that second checkpoint. They did go 2 or 3 down, I believe, through that sequence, but they just could not get Arashi out. They made the jump to the left side of spawn for 3/4 combo and just started wreaking havoc. They forced jump outs. They got all the way behind. They cleared space front tower, and when they popped that Ultra Step, that just completely flipped the game on its head, allowed Overwatch to steamroll to that KO. Just an amazing flank there by Arashi. I mean, like, you saw their opening flank as well. They ultimately let them get 2 down to begin with. Like, this is a Viper play that's playing very aggressive, no frills gameplay, and it's worked to perfection in that game. So very interesting to see what they do here to Ramen Zones. It's not as much of a map that encourages flanks, encourages those really risky plays. It's more hallway-ish, it's more choke point based. But we'll have to see if they can get away with that. I mean, based on what they got away with game 1, I'm very interested to see what they do for game 2.
I mean, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I think 3/4 combo gonna be a bit more aware. Just a thought. I think that's the understatement. I think they're gonna be a lot more cautious of those immediate flames from Arashi, but we're gonna see what they're gonna go. I believe we do see a couple switches up for 3/4 combo. Yeah, we see away healer going back to their main, that sticker stamper, Bunny going back to the Dread, and Hilo kind of sticking with that bucket for those strikes. So kind of a lot more paint, a lot more even, I will say, from either sides. But we're gonna have to see how they deal with the pen, but not even the pen. I think great show there, getting a triple kill almost immediately off the rip against 3-Force combo. Now Overwatch, they have the Reef, they have the cooler. This may be a bit of a very tough, this is gonna be a very tough spot for a 3-Force combo to break out. They have cooler and Reef for it themselves here, but whoever pops Reef first kind of just loses this fight. So both teams have to be ready here. You see the Booyah and Reef coming out for the side of 3-Force combo, but like nothing ever happened. We're back to where they were a second ago. Just Overwatch kind of dominating right now. 2 down for 3-Force combo. And even though zone's neutralized though, can they get past it is the question here. Shell popping the Booyah bomb is able to get one. The Reef able to get another one, but not able to get the zone. And Overwatch just kind of running away with it. Only just now are they going to lose control of the zone. And even with that, they're not being forced back too far. They are still on their ramp. They are still contesting the zone, and they are still in this fight alongside having a Reef to pop it and possibly get a double kill here. Only one, but hey, you'll take that any day of the week. Nope, there's 2. I lied.
No, couldn't get the second with the Reef. They just get it done with the main weapon here. Overwatch retakes very easy. Not a lot of points come off the board for a 3-Force combo. They maintain this very impressive lead there. Arashi helping finish off a 2v1 on that bottom right part of the map. And 3-Force combo, they find themselves locked out yet again. 2-How there, moving into the alley, distracting for the slider, not gonna find a kill though. Good job by 3-Force combo to survive momentarily, although Slurpee, they're gonna finish off some more kills to their main weapon. Why not? Here comes the stand from Arashi, finds one, gets behind, finds the second. 3-Force combo is caught in a brutal stagger right now. Arashi going for a third, can't find it, but what a play by Arashi. Healer's gonna drop on this bottom left side. They have Booyah. They're gonna pop Booyah now. This is the last chance for 3-Force combo. They're gonna avoid the knockout. They stop the zone. They haven't quite capped it yet. Overwatch recaps the zone. Time is ticking down. They go 2 down though. The strikes are gonna come up for 3-Force combo, and that will cap the zone. 3-Force combo stays off knockout, stays off the 2-0 deficit, and gets back in the mid.
I mean, yeah, shout out to Bunny with a nice double kill with that Reef to kind of put the exclamation point on them getting back into zone. And now 3-Force combo, okay, they're in a good spot here, but can they keep it going? There looks like one's gonna go down, 2 down on 3-Force combo, 2 down, 3 down on 3-Force combo, and Overwatch kind of walking their way back into zone, forcing back Bunny, making sure that they can't contest the zone here. They're gonna go down with that Reef Hider as well, so no Reef on that respawn. So Overwatch, even though they did go down, even though they did lose zone, it felt like 3-Force combo couldn't really capitalize on that much. They kind of sat on the ramp, and it was kind of their death sentence, to where it was very, very hard for it was very, very easy for Overwatch to push back in. And as I'm saying that 3-Force combo, they're just fighting a lot. They're getting a lot of fights, getting a lot of picks, pushing up kind of far to kind of get Overwatch out of there. But these distractions are working out, even from Arashi. A double kill in the zone, the triple with the heavy. Every time 3-Force combo wants to push in, Arashi just says, wait, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna get kills, deal with me. And there's being a distraction at this point. They are doing whatever they want in the base of 3-Force combo, and the pick on top of that.
Yeah, there's so much time off of Overwatch's penalty came off the board in that sequence. They're gonna slide her in 3-Force combo now. They're not gonna cap that zone. You can't do that anymore. 3-Sider, they buffed it out, or they nerfed it out of the game. Overwatch is 3 down, just Slurpee. They use their own slider, doesn't cap either. Slurpee somehow still alive in zone. They finally go down. 3-Force combo, they have the zone again. They don't have a big penalty, but they have a long way to go to get lead. They need a really good hold here. Yo, Healer's gonna pop this Booyah bomb, holding it for a bit, throws it at their feet. And they're still holding ramp. Oh, look out for Arashi. Arashi behind. Close the ultra stand. They have it now. They find one. Arashi moving forward. Rushing with that stamp. Diving to the alley. Can't quite find the kill on high-low. Jumps out, but they get the throw on them. Great job by Arashi to get another great stamp. Away Healer's going to go down to 2-How. Sword v sword matchup's going to go in favor of Overwatch there. They're back in the zone with just 27 ticks remaining on the timer.
I mean, yeah, you gotta go if you're 3-Force combo. Unfortunately, not a good start. 2 members down. The Booyah at the ready for Overwatch to kind of stall it out. There's, I believe, there's a Stamper popping that Booyah bomb. They're gonna just capitalize it, and that will do it. And before we do anything, hats off to Arashi. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what they're on, but it's working out. just being a distraction, getting what 3 triple kills, not only with the hammer but with the main weapon itself, just being a nuisance, I will say, for 3-4's combo, and it worked out really, really well in their favor. 3-4's combo, every time they pushed in, guess what? There was a thorn in their side. What was that thorn? Arashi.
Yeah, credit to 3-4's combo. This is a game that very easily could have been a KO. It had they not execute those retakes to the degree in which they did. They kept coming back and they really tested Overwatch to a degree, but they just could not get a good hold. They could not seal the cracks that Arashi just kept escaping through. They kept dropping top left, they kept going through right. Didn't matter where they came from. They just always found a way to get through, pop a stamp, get behind, find 2, find 3. Just could not get a good hold on them 3-4's combo, that is. And because of that, they're now 1 game away from finals. They moved to Humpback Rain, a map that I think, to be fair, based on what I've heard from Wiper players, is not the best Wiper map. We'll see if 3-4's combo can do a good job of, neutralizing Arashi a bit more here, but I don't know. So far, they're 0 for 2 on that.
Listen, if I'm 3-4's combo, I am keeping one person, possibly either away healer or high lull. Where is Arashi? Where are they? I want eyes on them 24/7. I do not want them to pop off. I do not want them to carry this game, because even though we are giving a lot of love to Arashi, which is warranted, the rest of their team is doing great. The rest of their team is doing a great job of kind of following up on them. Slurpee with the Reefs, Tuhao with the Booyahs and the Stamper itself, unsung hero Mimkey just doing that consistent paint for the rest of the team is doing really well for them. But we're gonna see if 3-4's combo is able to kind of neutralize the threat of Overwatch, kind of just steam through this in a 3-0. Double bucket coming back out for 3-4's combo for Overwatch. No changes. They like what they see. They like what they have. Actually, no, one change for 3-4's combo. Away healer going back over to Paintbrush. It makes sense. This is a very, very good map for Pain, but you see it. I see it top of your screen. Arashi with the flank. Immediately, there's Rare gonna go down. Away healers 1 HP, 2 down for the side of 3-4's combo. Slurpee gets the third. It's just high-low, and that they're gonna be forced to at least back away and not fight unless they're gonna go down there. They are gonna get the jump out, but the game started 30 seconds ago. Overwatch, great start.
Yeah, they pick up this Rainmaker and look to move towards that red truck, but almost immediately. Here comes the Dynamo by Rare. It's going to get taken out by a slider. Good reflexes by Slurpee to protect the Rainmaker carry and allow him to get checkpoint. And 3-4's combo, they are 3 down right now. Tuhao has that Booyah Bomb. I'm going to pump it. They're moving forward. They are swarming. They find 1 kill with the Booyah Bomb. They are extremely fun. They find the second one. Rare. They're going to keep going. The Rainmaker goes down at 14, but that's a lead that Overwatch gotta feel pretty happy with. 3-4's combo, they pop the Rainmaker. They're not going to pick it up immediately. Maybe opting to reset it. Oh, they're going to...
Arashi.
Oh, yeah, Arashi. They wisely pick up the Rainmaker and just get it away from Arashi. Then nothing good could come out of that. They drop it in the mid. They go down for it. They go 3 down again. 3-4's combo firmly on the back foot here to start.
I mean, yeah, you saw it. Overwatch has a very, very high bar they have to cross that they want to get at least close to the lead here. They are able to break through that checkpoint, get a little bit of momentum on their side. Unfortunately, Bunny's going to go down, 2 down, 3 down. Tuhao getting a nice triple kill. Just away healer there, going to go down to Rainmaker pop. So now, Overwatch, they did a great job of weathering the storm. And now, if you're a 3-4's combo, you need to do that again. You need to keep up the pressure. But with this very aggressive comp from Overwatch, with Arashi, with Tuhao getting a nice kill with that hammer as well, it's going to be very, very hard to try to get back into mid. When you see them trying to get back into mid, they're going to be forced to pop a Reef Slider to at least get them out of there. Reef Slider from Slurpee getting one. Rare is still alive somehow, someway, getting a pick on to Slurpee there. She's got to at least slow it down, at least for now. But even after all that, Overwatch, they're still pushing. They're on the elbow. They're on the plat. They're gonna keep on going. Booyah Bomb not quite able to get any picks here. Rare able to slow it down by killing the Rainmaker. But what else is there? That's another 2 members down, and now 3-4's combo, they can breathe for just a second here. But we're halfway through this game. They have broken through that first checkpoint, but getting any further, that's gonna be a real challenge for them.
Yeah, they have good control of mid. They have control of the lane, but they have a long, long way to go. Keep an eye on Mimkey and 2 out. Mimkey jumps out, but now Arashi comes in. They're going to collapse on that lane from the left side of the map. Arashi pops a hammer, gets taken out this time. And 3-4's combo, they lose the Rainmaker, but they get 3 down. They're continuing this push. They need to get something sustainable, something long-term. They can't force it when they have this much ground to cover if they want to take the lead. Hylal saving that last strike just so that they can have their teammates get up. The Slider's going to come out too, not going to find anyone. Hylal still booking below the ledge. The Rainmaker's going to move up maybe a bit earlier than they would have wanted. That Slider's going to take care of them, and it's just Hylal. Hylal finding a nice kill, but can't survive for much longer. It's not going to be a push that 3-4's combo's happy with.
Yeah, just Slurpee held their real slider for just long enough. So 3-4's combo, they all went in and they all went down here. And as you can see, if the Rainmakers pop, they're chilling. They don't really have to do a whole lot more, but keep up the pressure a little bit and just kind of put 3-4's combos feet to the fire and kind of have them deal with both Arashi and Tuhao to kind of get towards mid, and not even get towards mid, get towards their plat, because they still have a little bit of ways to go. They have to get down to 13 points to win the game here. You see Bunny at the bottom of your screen just kind of pinning up that elbow, trying to go for a flank here with that Reefsider. Not quite able to get any picks here. Arashi though is gonna punish that with a nice pick there. Three down on either side here. You see both Stampers swiping at Hylal. They're gonna go down there. A minute left in this game. Overwatch, they just gotta hold on. They have a hammer. They can just wait and bide their time. But if you're 3-4's combo, you have to force a fight, force a good fight, and you have to win that fight if you even want the idea of winning this game.
Yeah, if Overwatch wants, they can try and take the Rainmaker to the back right part of the map to stall it. It's a brutal stall spot. Looks like they're not going to opt to do that, though. 3-4's combo, they break into mid. They have good Rainmaker, although not for long, though. Mimkey on that pencil getting a nice shot on them. It's just Hylal far away from mid, just praying that they can survive. Just 16 seconds remain. They have to jump out. The Slider comes out, maybe a bit wasted by Overwatch, but right now they just need to lock in and hold on to this Rainmaker. Arashi,
oh, there he goes.
they're gonna run backwards with it, and it doesn't look like anyone from 3-4's combo is gonna catch him. They're gonna take it all the way to their own goal, and that'll be it. Overwatch cements the sweep. They're gonna be moving on the finals. The very, very nicely played set and a win over 3-4's combo.
Dominant. What else do you want me to say? Very, very dominant win. Very, very dominant set from Overwatch. They just kept 3-4's combo on their toes. They just kept them kind of just looking behind them. Shout out to both Arashi and Tuhao for just putting up the pressure, keeping up that pressure, making sure that they couldn't look all forwards at the same time. They made sure that they had to keep at least one eye looking behind them just in case. Also, unsung hero Slurpee with those reef sliders get a lot of damage, did a lot of damage, especially when 3-4's combo tried to push their push down to 30. I believe that reef slider kind of shut that down. Got, I believe, two, 3 members. The last one, I believe, was Hylal in the corner. They went down. So it was just very unfortunate for 3-4's combo, because just you kind of got ran at, right? They got ran at, and unfortunately, they didn't have an answer for it. So that's very, very unfortunate for them, and that's where their run ends at 4th place in this edition of Shark Tank. But hey, if you're Overwatch, you're not looking for second, you're looking for gold, and it looks like they are going to have their next opponent, a team we have seen before and whose name has yet to come true, Winsby Throwing.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this grand final set. 2 teams you've seen in these last 2 sets on stream. 2 teams that have played exceptionally well, but one of them's gonna have to lose. One of them is going to take home the gold. They're gonna take home the high badge here, and I'm very excited. So we will have that grand final set for you coming up very soon. Welcome back to Grand Finals. Short break, I know, but we're here and we got a great set for you here. We have on one side Winsby Throwing and on the other side Overwatch. Like we said earlier, we've seen both these teams earlier today and both these teams have delivered. We go to Overwatch, they have Arashi, the dynamic wiper player, just keeps breaking through, keep getting flanks, keep getting insane ultra stamp plays. They lead their team against Windspeed Throwing, who really just had a very complete effort in the quarterfinal set that we saw. They had Beam, that amazing ink burst. They had their own wiper player as well. And I'm very interested to see how these two teams match up. It's going to be a wiper v wiper set, but beyond that, there are not too many similarities between these types of teams. Overwatch, they have a lot of mid-range. They have an AoE with the Dread, they have a sword, they have a pencil as well, but Winston Throwing probably a little bit more of a, not as traditional comp with the brush wiper. You don't see double stamp too often, and I believe they had a heavy as well, so very interested to see how these two teams match up here as we get into grand finals.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited as well. Like, so for a little bit of a refresher for those in the audience as well, Winsby Throwing, the last game that we saw them play, they ran heavy splatling, wiper, brush, and splash. So they did have the double. They did have double hammer. They did have their own wiper as well. So like I said, I'm excited to see how they match up into Overwatch. Now, game number 1, Haggle Fish Market Tower Control. This is going to be a very interesting one because I would not be surprised if we see both Arashi on the wiper for Overwatch and Beam, I believe, on the brush for Winsby Throwing, just go for immediate flanks. Just immediately get behind the opponent, get to mix me and get to wins respectively on either side, get them disorganized. So I would expect a very, very in your face. I would expect a very, very a lot of fighting early on, I will say.
Yeah, and I think the big question I have for Winsby Throwing is how are they going to manage Slurpee on that Dreading Earth? They had a phenomenal set in their own right in semifinals for Overwatch, just, completely zoning out the members of 3/4 combo that we saw, just getting so many good sliders as well. And I think, like, when you look at Winsby Throwing's combo, we have Splash, we have Brush, we have Wiper, and we have Heavy. There's not a ton of good matchups into Dread. It's a very flexible, very dynamic weapon, and we saw Slurpee make full use of it there. So I'm very interested to see how Winsby Throwing approaches that matchup. I mean, I think all eyes are going to be on Arashi with their flanks, with how they've been able to make just play after play after play. But I think Slurpee is also another player to watch. They had a great semifinal set, and we'll see if they can do it in the finals.
Yeah, I'm excited to see as well. But if you're listen, both these teams last round in their semifinals match, they did have a 3-0. Winsby Throwing did 3-0, cool dog pick, and as we saw on stream, Overwatch did 3-0, 3/4 combo. So I think both these teams have a lot of momentum going into it. Both these teams kind of know what they're going to run. It's just how do they combat the other. Now, I agree with you. I think for Winsby Throwing, they're going to have a very tough matchup into Dread, right? There's a lot of AoE. There's a lot of just large hitboxes. You have the Reef Slider itself. You have the combos with not only the Dread, but with the Stamper plus Wiper in order to just get a lot of damage on the board really, really quickly. So I am a little bit not scared, but I'm a little bit iffy on how Winsby Throwing is going to deal with that. But in their own right, I think Winsby Throwing having a lot, I won't say a lot faster of a weapon, but a lot more, I don't know, because in my mind, Wiper and Brush are very kind of the same level of mobility, right? So it's just a matter of how do the teams work off of that? And specifically for Winsby Throwing, since they did run a heavy instead of a pencil like Overwatch, I think the heavy has to be a lot more mobile. It can't be as in place, can't be as stalwart as Overwatch's pencil Mimkey is.
Yeah, I mean, I think on paper, Winsby Throwing with the Brush and the Wiper and a short range shooter to boot, they have a faster comp. You just compare the comps on paper. If you actually watch how Overwatch is playing, they can absolutely play just as fast as Winsby Throwing. I think if you look back to that Humpback Rainmaker game that we just saw prior to this, when they got their big push all the way to 14, they were moving extremely fast. It took them like, I want to say like 2-3 seconds to get from mid all the way up onto 3/4 combos plat. And I think it's just like it seemed like they had a very good sense of like direction of where they want to go and how they want to go there. I think it's very decisive with the way they move, and I think they're gonna need every bit of that decisiveness if they want to match the pure speed of Winsby throwing. But we're gonna find out right now. We're getting into it. It'll be splat zones on Hagglefish Market here to start. We do see a Splatter Shot Pro Frozen come out for Winsby throwing in place of that splash, but everything else remains the same. We see that heavy, and we see that double stamp. On the side of Overwatch, it's more of the same: pencil, dread, sticker stamper, wiper.
I mean, yeah, they like it. We're gonna see how they go with the Arashi immediately on that flank. But you see, Wins and Sorry both looking out for them, almost immediately making sure that they cannot go for that zone here or go for a flank. Just doing a great job of just stalling out. And I like the pick of the Pro only because the missiles give you information. Having that information is very big here. You see, alongside the chip damage, getting 1, getting 2, looking for the 3rd, popping a reef is good here. Even though they did go down, no reef on zone means Overwatch will be pushed back. Means Overwatch will not have that on retake, and Winsby throwing almost immediately. Great job of kind of following up on that reef slider being popped, and now you see they're just kind of running forward here to how popping a Booyah Bomb, not quite able to recapture the zone by themselves, but Rashi's going to be there to support it, get the zone. Hammer is at the ready as well, so if you're Winsby throwing, where is Arashi? Where's that hammer? And can we deal with it? There it is. It's going to go down almost immediately though.
Yeah, although Winsby throwing, they did have to use their own hammer to counter that, so they won't have that for retake. Overwatch still controlling the zone, but the good news for Winsby throwing, they got a second hammer. It's going to move on this left flank. Not going to find anything, though.
Oh,
it's
no.
Going to be the
Goodbye.
moving forward, they're going to camp that jump with ease. Another one jumps out, and Winsby throwing, they have full control mid here. We'll have to see if they want to move forward farther onto the plat. Overwatch does not look like they will do that. They're going to hold strong, keep the yellow paint up in mid, making sure that Overwatch is extremely hard time dropping. They do have a stamp and a Booyah and a slider ready. The mists are going to come out to counter those things, but they're going to move forward.
There's
Booyah's going to come out. That's going to be 1 special, 2 specials. The stamp, the slider's going to be enough to cap the zone and get 2 down. Great special coordination by Overwatch to get back in before Winsby throwing's lead gets out of hand. And that's basically a delayed wipe with the last one jumping out. So Overwatch, very good control. Here's Arashi and 2 out. Look at how far up they are. Going all the way into the spawn. Gonna find 1. Arashi baiting a second on the left. They don't see 2 out though. 2 out's gonna finish off that kill with Arashi baiting them. The stamp though gonna narrowly miss that heavy. Arashi dashing through the stamp, gets a trade somehow. Great plays by Arashi, and the lead is flipped.
Yeah, the lead's going to be flipped. Overwatch, a really, really strong hold. Reef from Slurpee going on the ramp, getting 1 very, very crucial pick onto Wins there. No paint for the zone. You see, I believe, Sorry, throwing that hammer, getting damage on Arashi, on Nixme there, is going to force them out. A second hammer is going to be popped by Winsby throwing. They are going to be able to recapture and kind of readjust themselves because a lot was thrown at them, and now they have a very, very long way to go to kind of get to this lead here. And you see they set up almost immediately here. Arashi going down is big there. No hammer, no wiper you have to deal with here, but the rest of the members to be very, very big here. Slurpee popping that reef, canceling out Sorry's hammer. So very, very big there. Overwatch just kind of, even though Winsby throwing did manage to get through their penalty points, not a whole lot else. So now, if you're Winsby throwing, you gotta do that again. You gotta make sure you keep up that pressure. You gotta make sure you keep eyes on both of these wipers here. You gotta make sure that you can't go down to these reefs or these hammers. So you see the reef going in, getting 1, getting it's going to be Arashi in conjunction with Slurpee there. And now Overwatch, you have to kind of have to go here, trying to get something going. Wins is gonna go down as well. So what looked like a very, very good hold for Winsby throwing got thwarted by both Slurpee and Arashi with another pick on top of that.
Overwatch has through their penalty right now. Winsby Throne needs to act faster. They're going to get KO'd here. Arashi going to pop the hammer, finds 1, secures the zone, finds a second, looking for a 3rd. They're weakened. It won't matter. Overwatch takes game 1 here. It was started out as a back and forth game, but Overwatch just powered through. The sheer special coordination, the sheer amount of 2v1s, 3v1s they were taking is what got them that game 1 win there.
I mean, honestly, if I had to pick kind of an MVP for this game, I have to go with Slurpee. Like, low-key, I have to go with Slurpee. Mainly because, well, yes, Arashi did have a lot of great plays. I believe it was Slurpee keeping up the paint, getting Arashi and Tuhao in with those reef sliders, getting multiple kills with reef sliders. You even saw they turned around with the reef slider to kill, I believe it was Sorry, popping that hammer. So that was just big there, just making sure that Overwatch can stay in control of zones, make sure that they can stay in control of the matches, keeping up that paint. So even though Arashi is very, very flashy, I don't know, DHU, do you know a lot about like basketball? Or
Yes, I do.
okay, go. So even though Arashi may be like Derrick Rose of this team, you know, Joakim Noah is still great, and I think Slurpee was the Joakim Noah of Overwatch, like kind of enabling that, and it worked out really well in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're staying with the basketball analogies, I mean, like, Arashi is really the floor general, really the guy that's gonna be distributing.
Yeah,
gonna
the
be, like,
one. He's the one.
Passing the ball around, the guy that people are gonna have circled there. But I think with that game, like, Arashi would not have gotten away with the plays that they got away with if it was just them taking solo plays. But it was really just a sheer team coordination. The fact that Winsby Throwing was so focused on what Arashi was trying to do, moving up into spawn with the hammers, that they really just couldn't quite catch what Slurpee and what Tuhao were doing in particular. There were so many kills that those two got just because they caught Winsby Throwing just tunnel vision on Arashi. I think, like, when Arashi needed to kick out the ball to find the open guy for three, they were draining those threes, and because of that, they're up 1-0. And we do now have a counter pick here. It's going to be Humpback Rain, a map that we saw Overwatch excel on in our semifinal set just prior to this. But we'll see what Winsby Thorough can do here. It's a map that I think they can excel at as well. We'll see though.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to see what they do. Sticking with the same comp, Overwatch probably not switching. Yeah, they're not switching. So if you're Winsby Throwing, you have to know what to expect. This is Rainmaker. This is Humpback. An immediate flake from Arashi is kind of expected here, as exactly what they're gonna do here. Because we just saw this matchup from Overwatch here, but Beam canceling that out, making sure that Overwatch cannot get that quick momentum here. Tuhao is gonna go down as well, but not before trading out, and 3 members down for Winsby Throwing. Overwatch is gonna take it and just kind of start the scoring immediately, going straight for that checkpoint. But you see Arashi on the other side of the plat going up, going for a bit of a flank here. They're gonna get caught out, and they're gonna just get into a fight with Sorry here, just stalling out for as long as possible. The rest of Overwatch just pushing the Rainmaker, getting picks. It's gonna work out. Hammer pop by Sorry. This Hammer v Hammer is gonna be a trade. No, it's not gonna be a trade. Sorry's gonna win that fight. 19 points on the board for Overwatch. And it looks like that might be the end of the push here, but maybe not. Overwatch is still there. Members are still jumping in. And it looks like Winsby Throwing, despite this being their counter pick, is gonna get raided through by Overwatch. 4 points on the board a minute into the game here. You see Slurpee is finally gonna back out into mid, and we saw this last hit against 3-4 combo. Overwatch, they like the spat mode, and we see why.
Yeah, Winsby Throwing, they get it out of the danger zone for now, but that's a long, long way to go there. The missiles might help with that, so they're going to die for the checkpoint there. They get it, although Wins goes down for it. Slurpee's going to pop the slider. Not going to find any. That's a slider moment if I've ever seen one. The stand makes quick work of Slurpee, and Winsby Throwing has momentum. That stand there's going to go, not going to find anyone. They have good positioning up here. They have it on the elbow. They need to get past that choke point to fully get on the plat. That's 3 down. It's just Slurpee up top. Slurpee's weak to the hammer. They go down. That's a delayed wipe. Winsby Throwing, they get taken out by Arashi. A potential game-saving kill there. Arashi pops the hammer, finds one, looking to pop the shield with it, and they are able to. That was dangerously close to Overwatch losing the lead there. What seemed like an impossible lead, but they get 3 down. They clean it up. All is well for Overwatch for now.
I mean, yeah, that was a bit of a scare if you're Overwatch. Winsby Throwing really did a great job of fighting back, but you see, as quickly as Overwatch was able to kind of stop that, they're able to start a new push for themselves, getting to this ramp or this elbow almost immediately. 3 members down. It's just Wins there at the top, just raining down hellfire from above, trying to get them down. Able to get one. Tuhao still alive. 2 members down for Overwatch, and Winsby Throwing is able to at least stabilize for now. But you see it, I see it, the whole crowd sees it. Overwatch, they're back on the elbow. They are back in position. They're just gonna keep contesting this Rainmaker. Hammer gonna be popped by Sorry. Able to get Arashi down. Wavebreaker as well, kind of slow them down just just a second here, able to pick up the Rainmaker to at least keep it from resetting back to mid. Mimkey just holding on. The read from Slurpee getting one, I believe. Bomb as well. This may be GG's. It's not going to be. The hammer is going to stall it, but not for long.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, there's Overwatch finally breaking through, getting through that checkpoint. Winsby throwing, put up a solid defense. A good push by themselves to 16, which would normally be a game-winning push on this map. But Overwatch, they got down to 4. They kept up the pressure. That's the result.
It should go to Overwatch. After Winsby Thrower gave him that scare by getting all the way 16, almost taking lead, they did not let their foot off the gas. They said, okay, you got this one attempt, you're not going to get a second attempt. They just kept pushing that Rainmaker, drove the stake into the heart of Winsby Throwing, and went for that KO. They're not going to take any chances. They're going to end that game as early as possible. Forget stalling. Forget, just play out the whole 5 minutes. Overwatch wants to go for the kill, and they are one game away from really going for the kill here. They have a 2-0 lead. They can taste it now, just one win away from winning this whole tournament. And if you're Winsby Throwing, you're down 0-2. Both these 2 games, you had moments, but Overwatch has looked like the better team for those first 2 games. I'm very interested to see what you can counterpick here, because it really does feel like these teams have similar strengths. They play fast. They're very reliant on big play specials like the Ultra Stamps, like the Reslider from the side of Overwatch. And I think, I'm starting to think that, in a way, a lot of what Winsby Throwing is going to be good at, Overwatch is also going to be good at. So it's very interesting if they can find a map to counterpick that can really strike that delicate balance of being good for Winsby Throwing, being good for that faster brush heavy style comps, while also not being as good for Overwatch in a way. I feel like Humpback Rain, when they picked that, in a vacuum it's good for Winsby Throwing, but I also felt like that was a really good pick for Overwatch to begin with as well. So interested to see how they approach this game through the counter pick for sure.
I mean, I agree with you, because I feel like most of the map modes that Winsby Throwing wants to go to take full advantage of Beam and Sorry with that Wiper is kind of what Overwatch wants to go to as well. I feel like the best way I can describe it is this is Winsby Throwing Achilles heel, where they were very, very strong, but any map mode that they want to go to, Overwatch is gonna be right there where it's much better, not much better, but it's still better for them. So we're gonna see what they decide to go to as we're jumping straight into it. Robo Ramen splat zones. We saw this from Overwatch last set as well. Winsby throwing something at the wall, hoping it sticks. No changes for either side. Winsby Throwing, this is your last stand. Are you able to break through and at least force a game number 4 is the question.
They're on Beam, they're immediately going bottom left on that ink brush, trying to see if they can get some value. They are called out by Overwatch, and they're not going to continue this fight. They're going to pop out now. They are 2 down, though. They got to be careful. They got to get value off this. They rush down Mimkey, find a nice kill on them, looking for a second kill on How. They're dancing around the pillow, dropping below. They can't find the kill, but they manage to stay alive and really just divert all attention to them, allowing the rest of their team to move in. They have a step now. They're going to try and go for it on Arashi. Arashi running, someone surviving, and helps get a teammate finish it out. That's How on the stamper. Fight the second kill. Great play by How, and what seemed like a certain scenario of death for Arashi and Overwatch there. Overwatch now halfway through their penalty. Winsby Throwing, they gotta respond quickly.
I mean, yeah, call How and Arashi the Splash Brothers, how they're playing so well together. And finally, Winsby Throwing is to be able to recapture the zone, get 2 members down, 3 actually. And you see already, Sorry, set up on the ramp. But for Winsby Throwing, you have to get a little bit further here. Try and make Overwatch uncomfortable. You have to watch the racetrack below. You have to make sure that you do not get chipped by either Mimkey or Slurpee or How or anybody really, because if you do, you're gonna go down instantly. There's Slurpee with the Reef, able to at least get a lot of ink on the zone, but not too much. As you see, 3 members down, however, for Winsby Throwing, it's just Sorry remaining. Kind of paint the zone. It's not gonna work out. The collapse by 3 members of Overwatch is very, very good here. And you see, listen, Winsby Throwing, you pushed up really fast. Overwatch is a little bit faster. You see already tried to go on their snipe immediately.
Yeah, it's another recheck attempt that Winsby Throwing has got to convert on if they want to stay alive in this tournament here. 2 go down though, maybe a bit earlier than they would have wanted. The Booyah Bob is going to come out for Overwatch, really make their life that much harder for Winsby Throwing. They're going to hold it for as long as possible. But when Stamp comes out, that's get canceled before it can get anything. 3 on each side.
Oh,
Here comes a
Reef,
slider.
that's so
Finds 2.
aggressive.
1 weak. They have to live this. A jump comes in. Can't quite cancel it. The stamp comes. They're weak as well. B moving it. And they somehow got the zone. I don't believe it. Overwatch has them dead to rights here, but they somehow sneak through. And Winsby throwing has new life.
I mean, hey, listen, Winsby throwing, they got punch in the mouth. They are not giving up. They are punching back. They are biting kneecaps and doing whatever it takes to stay in this fight. Arashi has the hammer at the ready. You see that Winsby throwing just looking out for them. 2 down. There's the hammer coming out. Just going to paint the zone. Go forward here. Able to get a pick, but not without going down here. And you see Winsby throwing within the 30s of their penalty points. Just keep on scoring. Keep it going. You see Overwatch trying to paint the zone. Not quite able to do it. You see one Slurpee going to go down as well. 19 points on the board for Winsby throwing. 2 members down on the side of Overwatch. That's going to be a lead change, actually. Winsby throwing, holding on. Overwatch trying to force a fight, forced away, and Reef is going to do it. 1 point remaining for Winsby throwing to win the game. Smartly jumping out. You see a hammer from Beam getting 1 before going down themselves. Winsby throwing now. You've done it once. You have to do it again. 1 more push, 1 more hold, 1 more opportunity to force game number 4 here and stop the sweep.
Winsby throwing just 1 point away, tantalizingly close to getting a game back, to getting momentum in this set, but they gotta go quick. The Overwatch's penalty is very short, but it's gonna be longer now. They get back in the zone, they cap it. Winsby throwing is still there, still putting pain on the zone. I thought Overwatch was gonna cap there. It's a big fight there. Beam's gonna go down. Now Overwatch caps it. Winsby throwing gotta break in again. They're 2 down. Gotta be careful. Can't stagger here. That's not a massive penalty. The Stamp's gonna weaken 1, but not quite find the kill. Arashi now moving forward, trying to strengthen this lockout. Overwatch, they've had so many lockouts, but they just can't quite control Winsby throwing here. They're almost through their penalty. Just gotta hold a bit longer. Here comes the Booyah Bomb. They're Winsby throwing is still moving. The pro's gonna get taken out a bit farther out. They're through the penalty, but they're 2 down. Here comes Beam. Beam's gonna get taken out. 2 down on both sides. It's just 2 how 3 points away. It's not gonna get there. Winsby throwing survives. They put another penalty in Overwatch. 2 how still moving through, still trying to get stuff in mid. Here comes the Wiper going find a kill on 2 how. Winsby throwing maintaining control mid here with just 20 seconds remaining.
20 seconds, 3 points that bring these 2 teams. You're gonna see possibly 1 final fight. Arachi drops, gonna get 1. Another one's weak, looking for a fight. 2 how popping the Booyah Bomb. Reef is ready as well. That's gonna be zone neutralized. Looking for even further hammers and get popped by Arachi, getting a nice one there. You see it, I see it. Beam waiting with that hammer, biding their time. Gonna pop it. Not quite getting any pick there. That's huge there. No one going down. Beam just kind of had to biding their time. Reef Sider is ready, popping it aggressively, able to get wins down as well. So this may be game. That's gonna be 2. If your Winsby throwing, you have to go right now. They're going. It's just 1. They're not able to get it. I believe that's all she wrote. Overwatch holding on. Winsby throwing. They threw haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, but unfortunately, Overwatch, much like Muhammad Ali, did not go down. They took it and they swung back, and unfortunately, Winsby throwing, they were down for the count. And wow, what a way to end this game. What a way to end this game. What a way to end this set. And what a way to end a Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 36 with a very entertaining last game.
My goodness, what a doozy of a final game we had. Overwatch does take Shark Tank Shallow Waters number 36. They are our champions for this tournament. Oh my goodness, Winsby throwing Hey, it's Big Dapple number 10. It's gonna be great. I got my whole team coming out. I'm gonna play with them. It's gonna be great. But more importantly, I'm gonna be commentating with certain someone there. I don't know if you happen to know about them, but they seem like a pretty good commentator from what I've heard.
Yeah, and for me as well, I will also be found at Big Dapple. Also be commenting with a certain someone. Not sure who though. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I will be there, not with my team, but with a very good group of friends. And not to mention that this Big Dapple number 10 is the LAN Championship qualifier. So if you are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, please come out to Big Dapple 10. It's very great. It'd be very cool. But also, unfortunately, I have to shout out another LAN. H-Town Splash Town is also happening on the same day, on the 11th. I have a couple friends going down there as well, which is also going to be a LAN Championship qualifier. So that is unfortunately the same day. But with that, that is it from us over here at Shark Tank. Thank you to Oxy for being our wonderful streamer. Thank you to all the staff in the background, making sure that everything works or runs as smoothly as possible. And thank you to everyone who was watching this stream. You are the reason why we do this. You are the reason why you're the reason why this is possible. So with that, that is it from me, at least. DH, any last words?
Not much. Thank you all for coming out. It was a great tournament. See you in 2 weeks for number 37.
Goodbye.